How's it going? Hey, happy Saturday. How's it going? Looks like we got some newer names in here, but also some familiar ones too. Schleim streamed. Hello, how's it going? Welcome. Astrid, what's up, man? How's it going? How you doing? Hopefully well. Tree for free. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Haven't seen that name in a while. Home Lab New, how's it going? Cowstub, how's it going? Hey, happy Sunday. That's right, it's Sunday for you. Saturday for me, but happy Sunday to you. Slime Stream, greetings from Austria. Hey, that's awesome. Well, hey, greetings from the United States. How's it going? Man, what are you guys working on? I've been working on a ton lately, it seems like. Yeah, so I got a couple things going on. So a couple things like new, I guess, to the channel. I got some channel point stuff going. You can redeem them to change the color of the lights in here. I'm still working on a couple of things I need to work out. But also, yeah, some new things in Discord, some new channels there, renaming, rearranging, trying to get things scalable. I'm trying to make my Discord scalable, if that's a thing. And not the service itself, just the channels. And so if you've been in there and seen them, they're changing. They will be changing some more too. So yeah, trying to make sure they scale and they're generic enough, but not too generic. So anyways, yeah, I've been doing a ton of that. Also released a video this morning. I feel like I'm kind of off in the weeds, but it'll make sense in my next one. I feel like maybe this is a Mr. Miyagi move where I'm just like, you know, sand to floor, wax on, wax off, and you'll find out in the next one what this is all about. Hopefully, and you'll care about it. If not, it's there. And but anyway, Big Red Rusty. Hey people, how's it going? Wow, Lomik, Poland. Hi from Poland. Hello. Hey from the United States. Hope you're doing well. Man, that's so awesome that there's people from all over the world who have found my channel and then probably found my Twitch channel afterwards. It probably didn't go the other way around, but man, welcome. How's it going? Craven, yeah, man. All three of the headphones, dude. Nice, man. Dude, tier 3 months. That's so crazy. You have all of my emotes. And more to come on that soon. I think I'm gonna get someone to do or help me with emotes professionally. So I got a couple of designers I need to talk to get some more emotes because I have lots of slots and people aren't. People should have more emotes for me, and I got a couple of ideas. Some ideas might even be on this shirt, but I'm not promoting this shirt. This is not merch. I don't do that. But this is just a shirt that I got from a code camp. But in the similar vein. Astrid, yeah, how's it going, man? How you been? Creepinson, hi, how you doing? What's up? Simone, oh man, that's Simon. I got the Simon on the end, but that's so hard for me to say. Simon. I'm just gonna say Simon if you don't mind. Hopefully that's okay. How's it going? Eluance, hi from UK. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, this is my UK friendly stream. This is the only one that I can have that it's UK or rest of the world stream kind of friendly, kind of rest of the world friendly. If I got up and started the stream a little bit earlier, it'd probably be the rest of the world friendly, but I apologize to people the Far East. But I'm glad that people from the UK can finally make it, because usually you guys know that my stream is on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and my Tuesday and Thursday is at 7 CST. And that's not the friendliest of times for people in the UK, but this one obviously is working out okay, so that's awesome. Slime Stream, currently working on a base layer API for apps written in Python with the help of Fast API. Interesting. What's your API? What's your API do? I mean, it probably serves data. I mean, if it's a RESTful API, maybe it does some other things. But yeah. What does it do? Interested in knowing more about that. I don't know Fast API that well or at all. I'd like to know more about that for sure. Yeah, tell me more about that. Astrid looking cute today. Thanks, man. How you been? Heard you're doing well. Yeah, yeah. Heard you guys are doing good. That's good. Hope things are well. I mean, I know they are because I heard from my wife, man. But yeah, hopefully things are good with you. She told me they were, so hopefully they are. Home lab new, been working on attacking. Oh, whoa. Been working on attacking the lack of real root of trust on my home lab. Okay. I found a cool little HSM for a Raspberry Pi, which I posted in the security channel on Discord. I just saw that. It looks pretty awesome. Super cool little bit of kit. It can handle even disk encryption transparently and securely on the Pi. I saw that right before I went live, and it looks super interesting. I didn't totally dig into it yet, so I don't know exactly what it's used for. Yeah, tell me more about it. Looks awesome. I did go to the website and I saw the little flashing light, so that was that caught my attention. Their little GIF of the LED that's on the module for the Pi. Looks awesome. I'm good. Saw it. Lady friend yesterday. Yeah, that's what she told me. Yeah, for sure, man. Hope you guys are good. Hope the family's well. Seems like it. She told me. Simon is Simon in Polish. Okay, so how do I pronounce it? Is it Simon or is it just Simon? Just straight up Simon? Because yeah, but that's awesome. So you have it in Polish and then I guess the English way too. Yeah, welcome from Poland. That's awesome. Big Red Rusty. The stream time is great for you EU watchers. 7 p.m. It's like 2 in the morning. I know, but man, I got a day job. Until maybe one day, if I ever can do this full time, I'll definitely do it earlier. And I would love to make, I would love to do it at 3 CST every time, or even a little bit earlier on the weekends. But yeah, until things change, yeah, I can't do that. But I'm glad you're here on Saturday for sure. Cow stuff, you can get rancher emotes. Yeah, that's a good call. There's already a cow, so like Twitch and just emojis in general, all operating systems have the cow. But yeah, that's pretty awesome too. Yeah, that's a good choice. I like it. Astrid, oh, no new sub emote. Yeah, no, man. I mean, you got the one sub emote. You got the 3 months. But I'm coming with some more. I need professional help. I'm not a designer, so I wanna get someone who can do some decent emotes, other than me just like looking at free images and royalty-free ones and not really knowing if I can use them and trying to modify those just enough so I don't get in trouble. But no, I have a plan. Haven't put it in place yet, but it's coming. Schleimstream does authentication and data handling. Nice. So you're talking about Fast API. Yeah, I would love to know like what your API serves out if you could talk about it. I assume you have some kind of back end. I mean, that's obviously what APIs are. Well, sometimes they're doing is serving out data. But yeah, I was curious to know more if you can talk about it. If not, no biggie. I get how that is. Some things at work I don't talk about in stream, but other things I do. Personally, I do for sure. But yeah, I'd love to hear more. I need to look into Fast API. I usually just write my APIs in Node.js or TypeScript, which obviously is running on Node.js. So it's either plain old JavaScript or TypeScript for my APIs because it's super easy, at least for me. So yeah, I'd love to know more. Eluane, Techno Tim, bro, even if you stream at 3 a.m. local time, I'll be here watching. Dude, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it. That would be tough for me. Well, if I did it here local time, for you, that really stinks. That would probably be great for you. But man, I appreciate it though. Thank you. Astrid, I miss you. You should come over too. Yeah, next time, man. Maybe next time for sure. That was, it was yesterday during the day and it was Friday, so it didn't work out. But yeah, for sure, man. It's been a while. Simon is fine. All right, I'm just gonna say Simon. Hope that's okay. But if you want me to pronounce it a different way, I totally will. I totally get it. Because I like to pronounce people's names in their native language. Every time I have a hard time pronouncing someone's name, they usually say what you say, which is the super nice thing to say, which is, you know, what you just said is fine, but my next follow-up question is, okay, what do your friends call you? Or how does your mom say your name or something like that? And then that's how I get to the root of how you really pronounce something. Because people are so nice. They'll just say, yeah, like, sometimes like in Japan, people call me Team. And, you know, I'm like totally fine. Like I get it, you know, or our Vietnamese friends who say Team sometimes instead of Tim. And so like, you know, I'm totally fine with that too. But when you ask the follow-up question, okay, what do your friends call you and how do you pronounce it? That's how you get to the root of it. But anyways, I digress. Hope Simon is fine. Penguin Airlines. Yeah, man. Lurkin, how you doing? Udukaro. How's it going? Hello from Serbia. This is one with friendly with Serbia too. Awesome. Other slots are 4 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, UTC +2, 22:15 now. Wow, that's still pretty late. That's 10 o'clock at your time, but at least I mean that's later. I stay up pretty late myself, but yeah. Well, at least you could catch it. I'm super glad for that. Super glad for that, for sure. Penguin Airlines. I have some fish sticks. Oh, just snacking on some fish sticks. That actually sounds really good. I haven't had fish sticks in a long time, and I love to just mix up some Miracle Whip and some ketchup and dip them in there because it's so good. Duck calling, yeah, I will, Astrid, for sure, man. Yeah, but sounds like you guys are doing good. Sound like things are going well. Yeah. HomeLab New, it basically stores cryptographic keys and ties them to a specific Raspi SD card pair. It won't release the key unless it's plugged into a specific Raspberry Pi with a specific SD card plugged in. You could even make it destroy the key if it's plugged into a different SD card. You can even make it destroy the key if it's physically moved too quickly, or if someone touches the conductive outer case you put around it. Wow, this is a combination of physical and and I guess virtual security. This sounds pretty awesome, man. What would you be running on your Raspberry Pi that would basically self-destruct itself? I guess it, not even the self-destruct aspect, but yeah, that sounds really awesome. Even just the encrypting the disk, alone, the SD card. It's pretty awesome because most people who format their Raspberry Pis, it's, whatever, FAT32 or something else. Probably not FAT32 because they're not running anything that would, I don't know. I don't know what they're formatting the cards, but probably not encrypting it at the same time. So that looks really awesome. I should totally look into it for sure. Schleimstream, have you ever worked with OAuth 2? Because I worked with it recently and it's super awesome, but really hard to get into. I have. I have. In my latest video, I actually do OAuth 2. So I've done some OAuth 2 stuff for quite a few things. My latest video, I just did it with Rancher, so you can secure, the Rancher UI with OAuth 2 in this latest one. And so then, it's Google, GitHub, Keycloak, Azure AD. There's 8 providers that it supports. But I've also done OAuth 2 for other things too. Apps I've built, websites I've built, mostly client-side stuff that I do. If I want to allow someone or myself to sign in with Google, I gotta set up, whatever. I gotta use Google's, as an OAuth provider, set up an endpoint for the callbacks. And do it that way. So, I mean, super high level, the way, I've done it in front ends is you have a front end, you click sign in with Google, calls out to Google, has a token, has an app ID and a token, sign in with Google, and then Google then calls back to your website with your access token. And then you parse that access token off, and then you use that for your request. Super high level and simple client-side implementation. But APIs, you'll probably have to use not a client-side implementation for that, for sure. But yeah, it's super, it's tough, but there are a lot of guides out there on how to do it correctly. So there are a ton of guides, and usually when I build front ends, I'll use, and I write them usually in React. I'll find a React component that does exactly that, which does a lot of the hard part right. So yeah, OAuth 2 is kind of hard to do right. In OAuth in general and just security in general. So I always lean into open source for that because I'm just like, I could hack not hack, I could write it to their spec, or I could, use this open source component or library that kind of does it for me. And I know it's done to spec and, has, hundreds of thousands of eyes looking at it. And probably have thought about every edge case other than what I would think about. Yeah, it's kind of my flow when I need to do OAuth 2. Find someone who's already done it and then implement it that way. But if you're doing your own OAuth implementation, I mean, even companies too who do their own OAuth stuff usually, use another provider internally. Basically, turn themselves into OAuth provider, but use something else like Ping Identity or Ping Federate. I forget what it's called, but Ping is a really popular one in enterprises. Sorry, I got to scribble something down. Notes for me later. Okay. But yeah. Let me know. Hopefully that answers your questions. And it kind of went all over the place on that. But yeah. Yes, it's even open source on GitHub, development branch. You can take a look at it, but I just started using Fast API and the code is not super clean or optimized. Hey, I'm there with you. That's a lot of my code. My development process is usually explore, make something work, put down a pattern, and then later on realize that the pattern wasn't the greatest pattern, and then decide if I refactor. And then obviously test and stuff like that. Hey, thanks for the follow. Let me pull up my follow screen so I can see that. Looks like Wimpinator. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. So yeah, Home Lab New. Have you seen the talk by Okta? No, I haven't. I haven't yet. But Okta is one of the ones that Rancher supports too. Super easy. But yeah. Same. Yeah, haven't. It looks interesting. Yeah, I haven't heard much by Okta until I was doing this video, and then there was Shibboleth, which was another one. Obviously, Keycloak, GitHub, Azure AD, ADFS, and Google I've heard of, but there were some new ones in there for me. I must add, my last name is hard to pronounce, but you nailed it. Oh, okay. My name is actually Milan. With a short A, or Milan, or Milan, or Milan. Totally easier to say with a short A, Milan. Milan. I'm not doing it justice, but with the short A, Urukado, with a short A. Oh, okay, I was giving it a long A. Short A, Urukado. I always put like a kind of a Japanese spin on most words I can't pronounce if they kind of look like Japanese because I speak a little bit of Japanese. So that's what I fall back to when it's not English. I'm just gonna pronounce it as if it were Japanese because most of the time, like phonetically, like I realize that other languages spell things phonetically. I mean, a lot of languages do, and they. Yeah, it's really different from English, but yeah. Home Lab New, I'm planning to use WireGuard VPN server. Nice, yeah, I've been looking at it too. And I'm making sure that like I have enough clients on all of my devices. It looks like they have clients everywhere, which is awesome. Right now I have a problem, which is that if I need to reboot the Pi due to updates or some other power failure, I need to manually provide the decryption key to bring it back up. But how do I do that if the VPN which runs the Pi is down? Yeah, sounds like a catch-22. Don't let it go down. That's a terrible answer. But yeah, that one's tough. Yeah, that one's super tough. Yeah, I haven't had a ton of experience with WireGuard yet, other than reading and researching. So I will probably have some more experience with it soon. I've been a OpenVPN, like most people, OpenVPN person for a long time, and so that's my knowledge. OpenVPN and SSL VPN, but definitely interested in WireGuard for sure. Looks awesome, and maybe I'll stumble into the same types of things you're running into as soon as I get something together. Urukado, a better option is to have VPN on the router and then don't depend on additional hardware. Yeah, yep. Yeah, I'm there with you. I have VPN on the router. The only problem is now, at least with OpenVPN. So I've had OpenVPN on my router for a long time. The only problem is now with WireGuard. WireGuard isn't on a ton of routers, or even software routers, hardware routers, whatever. I mean, they might be, but I haven't seen any, at least that I use yet. And so, yeah, it's I don't know if they're in a wait and see or wait and develop. I heard that pfSense is kind of working on it, which is pretty awesome. And that would be sweet if pfSense got WireGuard on there. I'm sure they will. I mean, I'm sure they will. But I totally agree. I have my VPN on my Edge router too, because it's there, it's easy, and if it's on, it's on. But if I switch to WireGuard, that won't be an option for me for a while. So I might have to then put it behind my Edge router, behind the firewall, and do it that way. So yeah, hopefully if I get it working, hopefully I don't run into what you're running into. And if I do, hopefully I find the solution. It's always a risk when I make videos, because it's like, hopefully I find a solution, but usually I don't give up until I do. So, but yeah, good point. How did Thursday's notes go? Thursday's notes? Missing, look. I assume you mean for the show. I don't publicly, I guess I kind of publicly document them. So I behind the scenes have been putting these VODs somewhere else. YouTube. I export them to YouTube, and I do end up putting some notes in them over time. But I don't put them on my main channel. I have another channel just for that. But I'm still kind of working on the kinks and figuring out, like, my release schedule, how it all works, and how it works with being affiliate with Twitch and exclusivity, and I don't want to do anything wrong. So anyways, I don't have notes. Well, I have notes right here in my notepad. They just haven't made it anywhere digitally yet. But yeah, for sure. I usually include them in my VODs when they get released. But yeah, thanks for keeping me honest. And I should be writing stuff down, because it's so much harder to go back on live streams and figure out what they were about. But YouTube kind of figures that out for me too. With their recognition built in and their algorithm. So, but at the same time, I need to document it too. Home Lab New, I do that, but unfortunately, I have USG, which makes persisting that VPN after updates somewhat complicated. Yeah. I can imagine. I haven't used USG. I went straight into XG. So I assume USG is the Sophos, the I don't know if it's a prior version. It's like the cousin of XG Firewall. And, I was debating between those two for a long time, and then XG was like newer. So I was like, yeah, go with newer, but it doesn't even have some of the features that I believe the USG has. P. Diddy. Hey, Tim. Great video as always. Thank you. Quick question. Is it possible to set up a VPN Docker route? Sorry. Is it possible to set up a VPN Docker and route another Docker through it to Rancher? I know I've seen it done in normal Docker, but not sure how I would do it in Rancher. Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't done it. Hey, Astrid. Yeah, man. Thanks for the resub, dude. 3 months. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. P. Diddy, so let me just try to understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to set up a VPN Docker route and route another. Oh, I see what you mean. So you have VPN in Docker, say whatever, PIA or some whatever, OpenVPN of some flavor, and you want to route your Docker containers through that tunnel. I don't have the answer. I know it's possible. I don't have the answer yet, but I will look into it, because this comes up a lot in Discord. And I know that a lot of people have talked about this in Discord too, and I should either figure it out or find someone who knows the answer and then create some kind of content around that, a blog post, something like that, to kind of document it, because that comes up quite a bit, or at least pin the post in Discord. VPN Docker. Well, Rancher, technically, But yeah, for sure. Like, I know that's, I understand why people want to do that. I just haven't had a need for that because I don't do that myself. I'm talking around it. But I don't use a VPN client going out from my Docker containers and then send that traffic through the tunnel. It's probably totally possible. And it's probably, at least with Rancher, it's probably a checkbox. You're probably a checkbox away, which is the nice thing. Or you're some gnarly YAML away and you got to find that key. So yeah, I don't have the answer, but I'll try to find someone who knows it. If not, I'll become that person who knows it. Nicola, writing your own authentication algorithm is kind of fun. Nice. My PhD studies are in cryptography, and there are so many edge cases when working with authentication. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. And so I've never gone that far to writing my own authentication algorithm. You know, I've just tried to implement the OAuth 2 spec on my own. So the spec, the algorithm, or you know, the spec already exists. And even implementing a spec that already exists is tough. And thinking about those edge cases. So yeah, man, that sounds really awesome that you've done that before. Not me. I chicken out. And I grab a library from someone who's already done it because I'm like, well, at least if I'm wrong, 100,000 other people are wrong too. And if they come up with a fix or a patch, then I'll pull that in. But yeah, that's really awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing, Nicola. Man, oh man, I couldn't imagine. I'd spend so much time and then I'd worry for so long, especially if I added it, you know, put it in production or my own production, which is just as scary as a company's production because, you know, if I'm protecting something with a password and with tokens and with OAuth, you know, it's for a reason. And so if that's not working, then, you know, whatever data I'm protecting is not getting protected anymore. But yeah. Urukato. Okay, is it short A, or or A? That's the trick with A's. You know, in English it can be anything. Other languages they're usually like urukalo, but maybe I'm mispronouncing it. HomeLab New, it has now. It's been mainlined into the Linux kernel. So you're talking about WireGuard. Yeah, I saw that. But then, you know, all of the people that, you know, all of the products, digital products that, you know, have VPN solutions then have to, you know, implement or pull that in or implement the UI or implement whatever within their own product too. So we're super close. We are super close, but we'll see how fast pfSense gets it for sure. Cowstub, I use MikroTik for my VPN needs. Nice. So MikroTik, you're using your switch. So then you just forward all that traffic to that switch, whatever ports it needs for your VPN, and then it does VPN there, almost like a concentrator or something behind there. That's awesome. Yeah, I've done something similar too. But yeah, but I keep mine on the edge. But that's a good alternative for sure. Let's see here. BRZix, reverse proxy in a Proxmox VM or on a separate device, Raspberry Pi. Good question. Good question. You know, if you're going to do it in a VM, technically it kind of is a separate device, a virtual device, or you can do it in Raspberry Pi. It just kind of depends. It depends. I've seen it done a lot of different ways. It sounds like a simple, tiny workload for a Raspberry Pi. And a Raspberry Pi is, hey, Tony V, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Welcome. I should turn this music down a little bit, maybe it's too loud. But that sounds like a perfect workload for a Raspberry Pi because it's you know, it's doing a lot, but it's managing all your connections. Hey, Ingring, thank you for the follow, appreciate it, welcome. It sounds like a decent workload for a Raspberry Pi. It also sounds like a decent workload for a virtual machine. Like you could go either way with that, because at the end of the day, they're both going to be run. It's a full OS, right? So you're going to be running Raspbian or some flavor of Linux or Windows or whatever for your OS. I would throw in there or Docker. or Kubernetes or whatever, or Docker. Because I think that it's a perfect use case for it too. You just have to like wrap your head around Docker and how it would work. And then and then you have so many choices. Then you have Nginx, traffic, whatever, roll your own. But yeah, that's a great question. I don't have a definite answer to it. It's going to be whatever you're comfortable with doing. Me personally, I use traffic and I do it in Docker because it's super easy. Even if I were to not use traffic and just use Nginx, that would probably also be Docker, and then just manage my configs so that I could easily upgrade Nginx and roll back Nginx. Say I went with a new version of Nginx and something changed, there was a breaking change, super easy to just go back to the previous version. So yeah, those are good questions. If you have Docker infrastructure in place, I would challenge you to try Docker. If you don't, it's kind of whatever you want to do. The VM option sounds nice because you can take snapshots. You can spin up another one. You can put it in, you can swap it in, swap it out, change the IP, super easy. I know you can do all that with Raspberry Pis, except for maybe the snapshots. And if it's something like critical, like a reverse proxy, where it's going to be, handling all that traffic coming in and out, being a reverse proxy, maybe handling headers, maybe handling let's encrypt in your certificates. I mean, maybe a VM is a better option for you if you're sticking with a virtual machine, a full-on OS. So, but me personally, if I was to pick between those two, I would say a virtual machine because of all the benefits of snapshots, backups, and whatnot. I've kind of like, so I've, I have Raspberry Pis throughout the house. I have 3, but every time I put a workload on them, I'm always just like, okay, does it need physical hardware to attach to it? Like that screen back there, it does, and then I start thinking to myself, okay, why is this not a virtual machine? And then so I end up moving it back. Obviously, you can't do that thing for things like that, or for RetroPie, or for something you want outside of your infrastructure that might do some monitoring and stuff like that. So good things to think about. I think I asked more questions than answered, but let me know if that helps. Dr. Bell, PhD, how's it going? Do you have any information? Would love to read and get up to date if that's the case. I assume you're talking about WireGuard, but yeah, there was. I think there were lots of blog posts on it. If you just Google for WireGuard Linux, I don't know, a month or 2 ago. I think that's when I discovered that they pulled it into mainline Linux. So which is awesome. 5 gigahertz, how's it going? I think they were asking about your notes because that is right. Thank you. That is right. They were totally trolling me on the places you can register your domain. Pork bun. But they weren't trolling me. But I thought they were. I thought maybe they were. Yeah, good call. 5 gigahertz. Sorry. Totally. Went over my head. Sometimes I get like too serious when I'm answering questions because I get in serious mode. You gotta keep me honest and troll me every now and then so I don't get too serious. And one more. I meant, did you check out pork bun? To be completely honest, I did not Google pork bun. And I should have. And it's written down right here, pork bun, on my notes. And I didn't. And I should have. But those notes will be included with the VOD when I release the VOD. And if you're trolling me, it'll be like forever, burned into, that video. For sure. But yeah, I should look into it. You know what? I'm going to look right now because this would be like the ultimate troll because you like trolled me for 3 days. And I even wrote it down. No. Oh, wait. Okay. Yeah. So it's a thing. It's a thing. So on last stream, we were talking about domain registrars. And so we were talking about whatever, Google, you name it, all the registrars, Namecheap, and then pork bun was brought up. And I thought for a minute that maybe they were trolling me, but then it was like, they were talking about it, the different prices, and I thought, okay, if they are trolling me, this is pretty good because it's not just like a one-liner. They're going in and talking about prices and how cheap it is and how they might use them next time. And so I never did any fact checking, but we just fact check. It is a thing. So yeah, thank you for not pulling off a super long, actually, those are good trolls. The trolls that go on, the one-liner trolls are not good. Like Boomer or whatever, those kind of trolls aren't even really trolls. They're just like one-liner, like funny things that aren't even so funny anymore. The good trolls are the ones that go on for a long time and they're totally built up. There's like an art around it for sure. But anyways, I thought it was, but it's not. Anyways, pork bun, I will definitely check it out. My stuff's hosted in Google domains. Might switch, we'll see. I think I just did a whole round of renewing them. So yeah. I should have looked at this before. But then again, and we talked about this last time, Cloudflare is tempting me to try to get me to transfer stuff there. I think they're becoming a registrar. Well, I don't know. I can't create a new domain there, but I can definitely transfer one there. So yeah. AMNXN, are you using a proper camera or a webcam for your stream? Good call. I'm using a camera. I'm using a full-on camera, and if you're curious about what I use in my stream, there should be a link down below. Hey, Dr. Oh, Cowstub. Hey, thanks for gifting a sub to Dr. Bell. Thank you so much. That was super kind. Thank you so much. Yeah. Wow, Cowstub. Thank you. I don't know what else to say, but thank you. Really appreciate it. So Dr. Bell, you just got sub benefits. So yeah. Oh yeah, my gifted sub star back there is working too. Oh man, my code. It's not the greatest, but I finally straightened it all out. Anyways, AMNXN, that's so hard to say. If you're curious about what gear I use, it's in the panels below. There's a big gear icon or panel image that if you click on, you'll see all of my gear. So what I use for my server racks, what I use for lighting, what I use for my YouTube stuff. But my YouTube stuff and my Twitch stuff is combined. So it's all in there. But I use a Sony mirrorless camera and a decent lens. Well, a cheap lens, but I think it works great. But yeah. Astrid, yeah, I'm behind. I'm catching up, guys. All right, I won't digress. I'm going to be as straight as possible on these. Okay. Astrid, yeah, thanks again for the sub. Just saw that. Okay. OB Viper, just watched your latest video. Great, like always. Thank you. One question. Why did you not go with the LDAP route? Any shortcomings that I may not be aware of? No shortcomings that I'm aware of. I just don't have enterprise authentication or an LDAP server set up here at home. And so I went with a third-party external. I went with GitHub in there because, you know, GitHub does auth pretty good, and I have two-factor auth set up already with them. So that's who I went with. Would LDAP or Azure AD or any of those others be a good choice? Absolutely. And I think that's where Rancher really shines. It's probably part of the reason why they got bought too. It's because they've been trying to support enterprise authentication as well as third-party authentication. They do lots of things, I think, right. But this was probably one of the huge reasons why, other than, hey, spin up Kubernetes in any cloud very easily. But this is probably one of the reasons why that they were valued. And so no shortcomings that I'm aware of. You'll have to give it a shot, but I don't think Rancher would support it if it wasn't super legit. And that's keeping it super high level and kind of, being joking about it. But honestly, I don't think they would have built it into their core product if it wasn't a good solution. So if you have LDAP and Rancher and LDAP works for you, sounds like a win. But me personally, so me and my home lab and my services here and stuff I host, I don't have LDAP set up internally. So offloading all of auth to either Google, GitHub was an easy move for me. So, but yeah, good question. I am Dalion. So my first time watching live, but I'm currently set up a Pi-hole onto Docker Kubernetes via Rancher. But previously, before I tried to install GitLab on FreeNAS, it took 4 and 5 hours. So I decided to shut it down and I lost my Plex content. So rebuilding and containerizing it all. Great videos, man. Great content. So much to learn. Thank you. That stinks that you lost your man. That stinks you lost your content. Hopefully you didn't. Well, you said content, so that stinks. have to recover it. I thought maybe you just lost your Plex library and you can rebuild it. Hopefully that's all that happened, because that's easy, relatively easy. But losing your content, that stinks. There's been a few times where I'm just like, when I had to migrate stuff, I'm just like, delete all my recorded TV, and I've abandoned it. But I've never lost, like, you know, my music and TV shows and stuff like that. But that stinks. But thank you. Thanks for joining the stream. Thanks for, sharing. Craven, I was in the other room, but I heard something about running a VPN in a container, then routing containers through it. All right. Check out this container on Docker Hub. Nice. Private internet access. Has some documentation on it. Has a kill switch built in. Nice. Nice. There we go. Craven, to the rescue. He was in the other room. Glad I talk loud. But yeah, that's a common question that comes up in Discord for sure. And I would love to explore that a little bit more. I just, like I said, I don't run my services that way. It would be nice though to have even some of my public services that I host, or even my blog, then going through a VPN that then, you know, yeah, but then I would have to figure out DNS. So maybe that's not the best use case. But anyways, if I needed to anonymize the traffic going out of my Docker container, then I would, you know, I'd be a little more informed on this for sure. P. Diddy, I tried to use VPN on my pfSense, but it slows my whole network down significantly. So if I can have a select few Dockers using the VPN instead of everything, I was also not able to access my services with a reverse proxy with it, but I'm sure I can solve that. Yeah, good call. Yeah, so that's perfect use case where you don't want it on your router because it might slow down, you know, your internet depending on the processor and what resources you have on your router. Yeah, for sure. HomeLab New, thank you so much for throwing that in security channel. That's the one I just built last night too. I have a couple more channels coming. I don't want to go too crazy on channels, but at some point I just want to have categories of things we can talk about there, because we're starting to fill up, and yeah, I love it. And thank you for sharing your content there. Hey, Corporate Reality. Whoa, hey, thanks for the follow, and thanks for the immediate sub after that. Thank you so much. Well, welcome. Thank you for the sub. I really appreciate it. Welcome. Is that Corporal Reality? Sorry. I need to get the glasses switched. I was just talking about this last night. My eyes have been killing me. And I think I have a new prescription, just haven't bought new glasses. I've been dragging my feet because I enjoy these. But anyways, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the sub. Welcome. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Nicolap. I've rooted my own Android device, and I use my custom authentication algorithm that is based on Kerberos. So it has two servers, and all devices have to run authentication authorization on one server. Then, with a one-time ticket, the device, gets access to the second server while all the data is stored. Wow, this is deep, man. This is awesome. This is done because I literally need one entire server, 32 cores, to run encryption, decryption for each access to the second server. So when you talked about OAuth, it kind of touched my soft spot. Haha, yeah, no, this is like way beyond me using OAuth and websites just to be able to sign in. That's pretty awesome. No, yeah, thank you for sharing. That is so awesome. I think we all know who to go to if we need a custom authentication algorithm written for sure. People might be hitting you up. But man, that is so crazy. That is awesome. I wish I understood authentication that much to where I can write my own custom algorithm. My code's pretty simple, but man, that is great. That is great. Hey, Colasini. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Man, rolling in. Thank you guys so much. This is so awesome. Techno Tim, can you make a video tutorial on Prometheus? It will help me on my monitoring systems. Possibly, soon. I've said this a few times, and I'm charging down a path, and that path will be finally, I think, completed on my next video. And then after that, yeah, I'm totally gonna branch out. I got one more thing, and I promise, like I said earlier, I feel like I'm Mr. Miyagi and saying, you know, wax on, wax off, sand the floor, paint a fence with a lot of these videos, but it will all come together in the next one. And then yeah, for sure, because I have so many ideas and I have so many there's so many questions about, you know, monitoring, security, VPN. I mean, you guys are talking about it now, and these are all things I'm super interested in too. And don't think that just because like, hey, current video, next video, last video wasn't about that, that the next one won't be. But yeah, for sure. And I have used Prometheus, before, and there are alternatives out there too. Because I would love to aggregate all of my logs from my Docker containers into one system and be able to search them and set up monitoring and set up alerts based on certain criteria. Yeah, I'm totally there with you. I mean, it's similar things to what I do in, you know, Google Cloud or any other cloud. You know, they have these systems built into them to help you do these types of things. And especially like indexing your logs and searching for them, that would be fantastic. Most of the time I have to open up the terminal and see it or catch it before it happens because I don't have, you know, anything essentially set up yet. But yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna go there because there's a lot of things in like operations, DevOps, that I want to do for sure. And you guys are into it too, for sure. Yeah, but yeah, great question. But I have done some Prometheus. I have done just, I've done some in public cloud, but I have done some here locally. I have it actually working. And, but yeah, I have to figure out how it gets consumable in a consumable manner. Hey, Lion. Hey, thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Man, you guys are blowing my mind today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the sub. Welcome. Thank you. I need to work on my pronunciation. Collision. Oh, what am I even saying? Collision NL. Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, welcome. Man, Nicola, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Penguin Airlines. I'll have to come up with an actual long con. Yeah, no, please don't. Please don't, because then like 3 videos later, I'll be like so invested in it that I'll be like, oh, you were totally trolling me for that long. Dang, Galenda, man. Oh my gosh, you guys are so awesome. Oh my gosh, and Hype Train. This is like, this is only the second time I've ever seen it. I think. No, wait, is that? I don't know. Yeah, it is. Man, thank you guys so much. Man, you guys are going crazy today. Thank you. Oh man, so let's get caught up. I'm getting caught up, guys, I promise. If you're running Kates, install Prometheus Operator and it takes care of the setup. Good call. Nicola, I declined their offer when I first signed up for PhD, so I took one in Serbia, home country. But I think their curriculum is great, and I think you're talking about RUL or RHUL. Nice. Schleimstreamt. Do you know UCS? Oh, you guys are deep in here. Do you know UCS? Univention Corporate Server. Seems like something you could be interested in, including LDAP support. Yeah, good call. I have not heard of it. I need to write this down though, so I can at least know the marketing around it, so I can kind of speak. Jeez, you guys! Oh my gosh, P Diddy! Oh my gosh, dude, you guys are killing me. P Diddy gifted 5 subs. You were crazy. Oh my gosh. So P Diddy, dude, thank you so much. Just gifted 5 subs, and they went to Eloane, Ghosty, Yudokato, Ska, and Swedish. Man, thank you so much. Man, you guys are blowing me up today. Oh man, I never expected or even thought that all of this would happen today. I was just coming on to chat. Man, thank you so much. Like really, like I say this a lot, and I it's not just lip service. That like I really appreciate it. Like all of the subs, bits, all of that stuff is much appreciated. Never required. Your time is more than enough, but really appreciate it. And all of it 100% goes back into the channel. What I don't donate goes in the channel 100%. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Oh, wow. Collision NL. Hi, Tim. As a Windows desktop user with multiple Linux servers, VMs, containers, etc., how would I manage SSH keys? I want to get into SSH keys, but I'm afraid that I delete them. Is there a way to make backups? Yeah, so you can, so it depends. So when you, It depends. So like if you're on Linux or Windows, you know, using if you're on Windows using WSL or Linux, well, it depends on how you have them set up. A lot of my keys are going to be in your, you know, your profile or your home directory under .ssh, and then within there you're going to see your keys to use to connect to whatever services, and that's if you have, you know, auth for key only. So that's on the client side where you're going to find those. Is there a way to make backups? I mean, you would just back up those files just like you would any other file. That's super important. You would probably want to set up a script or something to do that. I don't recommend like mounting that volume anywhere and trying to back that up or sharing that through Samba, because like all of the permissions on there should be pretty tight. Just depends on how they get set up initially. So I would just create some kind of script somewhere that backs those up and puts them somewhere. How you get those to another server after that could be, you know, rsync or however you want to do it. And then actually encrypting that, yeah, I would probably encrypt that then with the key and a password. Or if you use some kind of local password provider where you can actually upload that data, maybe not to a third-party service, but if you use something, you know, like, I don't know, KeePass locally, right? You can store files in there, and that might be a good place. And then obviously your KeePass, you know, local only database is encrypted, and then you have a password set on that. And then you could back that up however you want. It just depends. It just depends. Yeah, it depends. You know, I use quite a bit of SSH keys for all of my code in GitHub, and I do keep them backed up locally. They rarely change, at least for me, and this is going against public services. I do keep them here locally, backed up and encrypted, and somewhere they can't be found, and they're only on a couple of machines that I do development work. But you know, that's another thing too. Like, you know, are you just putting those keys everywhere on all kinds of machines just because? Probably not a good idea. But you know, a lot of possibilities. So tell me what services you're using, because I'd like to know. That might help a little bit with how I answer that. But then also, I'm sure a lot of people here on the channel know, you know, this stuff as well. So yeah, Home Lab New. Oh, here we go. Schleimstrom, you can always use a passphrase to encrypt your private keys. Yeah, good call. 100% passphrase for sure. Yep, good call. And I use passphrase for my keys for GitHub too, or GitLab or whatever I'm using. Because I use SSH to actually clone my repos and stuff like that. They're going, I start my final, oh yeah, you guys are talking about classes. They're going, I start my final year later this month, but so far it's been excellent. I didn't even originally go there for InfoSec, but ended up loving it so much. I changed my degree program, nice. Now InfoSec is pretty much all of what I do. That is awesome. Yeah, that is awesome. Be sure to share your knowledge with us, for sure. CalStub, I am working on a project which include Schneider 500K VA inverter, which has its own PLC on RS485 for telemetry fetching, but I am stuck on metrics and Grafana. Yeah, Grafana comes up quite a bit. Yeah, both on the stream and in the Discord channel as well. So much that we created our own metrics. Well, it was Grafana, but then we tried to keep it a little more general to be more inclusive of Kibana or anything that wants to do metrics, analytics, data viz. So I encourage you to join Discord because there are a lot of people in there who have posted things about Grafana, about Kibana, or about metrics and logging in general, for sure. But yeah, it can be tough. Grafana is super awesome. I've used it for a couple of different things. I've even used it in combination with Prometheus, but it's awesome. And I love that people can share their charts or their data viz stuff super easy too. And there's a ton on Grafana too, on their website too, that can be shared. Getting caught up, guys. Schleimstrom, yes, of course, but the content is encrypted with custom passphrase. Man, you guys are going on about InfoSec stuff. That's awesome. I need me some InfoSec in my life. Yeah, InfoSec is great because your position in the industry becomes so flexible. It's kind of amazing. Yeah, it's super broad topic for sure. For me right now, I work in a small company, Meteor Web Dev, as 30% of my time. 30% of my time is DevOps, and 40% is lead dev. Nice. You get to mix it up there, especially with the DevOps crossover there. Done some of that myself. On weekends and some other time, most of the people who I'm talked to ask me for private jobs like pen testing or custom auth for their prod servers. Yeah, that sounds awesome. That sounds awesome for sure. You're right, Putty can make keys. Yes, sir. Navy Cop, how's it going? Haven't seen the name in a while. Hopefully you got your home repairs and all the, I think, remodeling and all the stuff you had to do last weekend buttoned up. Navy Cop lurking in the background while I take a break from building a garden. Yeah, Arbor, yeah. Would be nice if you could come up with a home lab service solution to dig the hard clay out of here. Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about. I'd pay for sure. Yeah, I would probably containerize that. I would containerize all that hard labor. To be on topic, I'm starting to play around with garden automation solution, irrigating, lighting, etc. Nice. I've I posted this on Instagram a while ago, but I think, I don't know if it's the lowest high-tech irrigation system or the highest low-tech irrigation system, but I haven't gone in with smart irrigation yet. I have a bunch of hoses. I have 3 or 4 timers that have splitters. I have a manifold coming off, backflow preventers. I mean, this is all just to like water, grass and plants so they don't die. But I'm right there with you. I haven't gone fully in with smart irrigation systems yet, or even in-ground irrigation. Mine's just whatever you can buy at Home Depot and Amazon. And I strung it all together. But anyways, yeah, I feel you. That stuff is, I don't know. I have a pretty good system now, and I got it set up 2 years ago, and I've been following the same system. And it's just like, it's one day of setting up tons of hoses and tons of remembering all the timers and the zones. And then, one day in the fall coming here soon, is breaking all that down. But I haven't gone into the smart realm yet for irrigation. But lighting, yeah, I do. I have hardwired smart lights and stuff like that. Even rolled my own smart garage door, wired it up to an old garage door, and I wrote some code that tells me when my garage door is open longer than 5 minutes, because sometimes I forget to close it, or someone forgets to close it, or it just opens. And so, yeah. Fun stuff for sure. Haven't gone down irrigation route yet, but that sounds super awesome. P. Diddy, your content deserves way more recognition. Thank you. I'm still new, so I don't know. I thank you for saying that. I mean, I'm still new. I mean, I just started the channel this year, so I appreciate it. I feel like it's doing pretty okay or pretty good. But I never know. I have no idea what people usually expect out of their YouTube channels, because this is the only one I have, and same with my Twitch too. So appreciate that comment, but I'm super satisfied with what I have. So yeah, thank you. And again, yeah, thank you so much for gifting all those subs. Urukano, sorry for this, but I must say hello to Nicola. I think that I'm only one from Serbia here. Oh yeah, no problem. That's what this channel is here for, is to connect to other people and connect to people you don't normally get to connect to. I don't mind if you have conversations in my channel with other people. And yeah, totally fine. Like the only thing hard for me to recognize is, is this a response to me or a response to someone else that's chatting? Don't need to apologize for chatting to other people in the channel, because that's exactly what this is for, exactly what the comments in YouTube are for, and exactly what Discord is for. So you don't need to apologize for me for connecting with other people, because it's important, especially times like this. Collision, perfect, thanks. Yeah, no problem. Techno Tim, how's your week been? Home Lab New. My week's been pretty busy. It's been pretty good. Yeah, I was looking forward to a long weekend, so it's been pretty good. This last video took up a lot of extra time because it was a little more technical and involved, and I had to blur out tons of stuff. Like I think like once you get past like 4 or 5 minutes, like every screen is blurred out. But there was a lot of sensitive information on there, so But it's been good. It's been good. It's been real good. Weather's been perfect here. This is like the best time of the year for me, the United States, Midwest. It's like the best. Is like, 50s at night, mid to low 70s during the day. And it's been dry too. We had a ton of rain a couple weeks ago, but now it's been just perfect. And tonight should be a good night too. Probably gonna have a little fire, so that'll be awesome. Anyways, enough about my personal life. But yeah, it's been good. Thank you for asking. Schleimstrent, it was not really called passphrase, LOL. I was wrong the whole time. I misread it once and always read, paraphrase after that. Oof, yeah. I think on when you set up your GitHub key, you can secure it with passphrase. I think it's called passphrase. I don't know. I rarely do it because I, rarely set up new keys for my GitHub stuff. Choo. Oh, this is train. I'm getting caught up, guys. I promise. People new to the content typically do the best. I think Network Chuck said that. Yeah, I really appreciate his channel. You recently studied and set something up and then make a video while it's fresh. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, I didn't hear about that from Network Chuck, but man, he is awesome. He is a network guru. I think he used to, I don't know what, well, he used to teach for a company, and I don't remember who it was for, but you can tell that he's taught some classes before because he presents really well and has a great voice and great beard, obviously. That goes without saying. I couldn't grow that for the life of me. But yeah, thank you. Like I said, this is new to me. I'm doing it the way that I think people would want to teach me. And I kind of treat it like a developer presentation. And I've done developer presentations before, or a tech conference. Like when you go to a tech conference, what are and you guys have probably been to tech conferences. What are the courses you sign up for, or what are the things you want to learn about? And then what do you expect out of those? Obviously, mine aren't going to be 45 minutes, an hour and a half. I need to break them up for YouTube because people's attention spans and because, some of the topics I'm covering now are pretty deep or specific to a certain thing. So I try to make them like, a tech conference presentation, but shorter. So that's what I'm doing. Hopefully it's working. Swiss. I started a software developer apprenticeship last Tuesday, and my company uses C# for almost all its products. Now I watch tons of videos about C# and even complete a few courses. Congratulations, including the Microsoft Docs interactive tutorial. Nice. But I don't feel like I've collected enough knowledge to develop a real product. Yes, I know everything about loops, data types, etc., but I don't know how a real product is developed or how a ticket PR is processed. How can I learn that? That is a great question. Because those are the types of things that you learn by being on a team. And being on a team teaches you that. So when you join a team, it has its own, culture or tribal knowledge, and those are the things that get passed on. And for when someone joins a team and someone leaves the team, the culture changes a little bit, but the core culture or the core processes that team has kind of should, stay the same or change if they need to. Anyways, I'm digressing from that and talking more about the people and org stuff, but it's important. The things that you're hitting on right now are the things that you'll learn when you join a team, a software development team, because software development teams may have a different PR process. They might have different branches, and they might have certain requirements before you open a PR. And if you need to write tests, which you probably should be writing tests, and all of those things. So you're really hitting on something that probably a lot of people who are just learning don't have any experience with. So a couple of things, like I would recommend, one, I would recommend contributing to a project on GitHub if you can. Most of the time, those projects are going to have rules and regs or pull request documentation, like what to do if you actually want to work on something. And most people or repos will tag those with good first issue. And I highly recommend doing that just for the experience, even if it gets shot down, even if it gets denied and deleted and closed, just to kind of have that experience and that knowledge to understand. Because what you're asking about this is all experience stuff. And I'm more than welcome to let you open PRs against my open source stuff. I don't have a lot of great documentation, but you're more than welcome to. Or these are things we can talk about in Discord too. But if there is something out there that you can contribute to, that you think you know how to fix, I would encourage you to open up PR. Really low hanging fruit most of the time is documentation. And people love it when you either write, expand, or fix documentation. And so that's really low hanging fruit for a lot of people. A lot of times, if I'm reading someone's documentation and I see a typo, I'll open a PR. I mean, I would love it for people to do that to me. I mean, someone just pointed out a typo in my GitHub repo just earlier on Discord. Was that last night or this morning? It's all blurry to me. But I was like, thank you so much. I'll go and fix it. So long story short, the things that you're touching on are things that, it's going to come with being on a team. And every team does it a little bit different. And so in my experience, the general process is this was on bigger teams at bigger companies. I'm in a small company now, startup. But when I was at bigger companies, you usually open an issue to describe the problem, because that will save you a lot of work. Because if you open the issue first and describe the problem, someone might say, yes, that's a problem, unless it's an obvious bug. But someone might say, yep, we thought about that, we discussed it, we're not going to do that. Here's a link to why we're not going to do it, whatever. But then I would encourage you, open an issue and then write the code to fix the issue if it gets accepted. You're probably going to have to do it on your own branch, and you're probably going to have to open up pull requests, and you're going to have to look at their documentation to see they're contributing MD, they probably have one, to see if they have any process tied around that. Does it require a test? Is CI going to run? Those types of things. Anyways, I digress. It's a ton of software development stuff, but I would love to, like I said, like if you want to go into any of my repos, open a PR just to see what it does. Totally fine with it, or if you find something wrong with any of my repos, open a PR for sure. If you just want to figure out what the button does when you click it, do it on my stuff. I'd love to help. Anyways, long story short, those are the types of things that, like, once you get on a team, those are the things that people will teach you on a team. And hopefully you join a team soon where you can start contributing stuff. Congratulations on C#. I did C# for a while. Great language. And .NET in general, I think C# is the way to go for sure. If that was your choice. I think it's a good choice. C# in general. Wow. Roland, thanks for the follow. Wolfgang Blitz, thank you for the follow. Thank you so much. Welcome. Navy Cop, played with EBB and Flow hydroponics and have done a timer with drip hoses. Nice, you're ahead of me there. I didn't do drip hoses. Oh, actually I did. I did soakers, mini soakers. Swistle. Thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Gonna have a number of rain barrels, time drip for the gardens, raised bed. I figure I'd play with the automation side and see if there's a bunch of new stuff out there. Trying to decide if I want to replace the plumbing with PEX, but still don't have to go into the creepy crawl space. Yeah, I haven't gone that far. Like, I have some soakers and some boxes and some soakers around shrubs we planted that and trees that need some extra water these next couple of years. And you are out there. I've never figured out the greatest thing to do with rain barrels and how to automate rain barrel stuff. I would love to automate the rain barrels. I mean, obviously rain, get filled with rain barrels, and then automate the piece for the rain barrels to fill up my soakers, because that for me is like perfect. It doesn't need a lot of pressure, it just needs to drain into there. I haven't figured out a great way other than me going out there and flipping the switch, but I kind of want to automate it. I don't know. On Nicolop, it's totally fine to be scared, everyone, when they're starting. I agree. My suggestion to you is to work on whatever seems difficult, older devs, and not to watch too much tutorials, as they're good when you're starting, but most people go too deep into tutorial hell. Yeah, just keep up with the good and show a company that you want to learn. Totally agree, 100% agree. And so when I started learning C#, I'll go on, keep to 30 seconds, maybe 45. When I first started learning C#, I did tutorials over and over and over. I was like, Pluralsight, Pluralsight, Pluralsight. I'm not advertising for them, but the company I work for had a subscription. And I would watch them over and over and over. And that was just me, because I needed to build up like my mental capacity first to like kind of grok this stuff they're talking about. And then for me, it was do. I was like, I want a website, MVC, C#. How do I do that? And so I would just start building stuff. That's part of the reason why I self-host so much stuff too, is because I was just like, for me, for a long time, it was like, I'm going to self-host other stuff because it's awesome. And now, being a software engineer, a software developer, now it's like, I'm going to host my own stuff because it's awesome too. And so I would like encourage you. I don't know if you're going to be doing back-end stuff, if you're going to be doing back-end, front-end, middle tier, whatever. I would encourage you to build a couple things, just build some stuff. And I agree with not going into tutorial hell and just following tutorials and like doing like hello world apps over and over and over. Build something that you can, that you can use or show or keep somewhere, because those are the kinds of things too that are awesome to have, like on your resume or in GitHub. You know what I mean? To your the new age resume for software devs, which is a GitHub repo of something. So yeah, I encourage you to build something for fun. Put it in GitHub. Keep it private if you're not proud of it. But if you are, make it public. Or make it public and ask people for feedback, or to open a pull request against your stuff. Set up CI. Get some tests running. Run it in whatever, Circle CI, Drone, or Travis, or one of the open source CI systems. Or all GitLab, and go full GitLab and figure out how that works, because that stuff is pretty cool too, and that stuff will be really important too when you join a team or join a product team, And I think someone mentioned this earlier, is that after you join a product team, I mean, it's like your whole entire team kind of owns the future of that product, and kind of has. Some companies, a lot of control over that product, how it's hosted, how CI, CD works, has a DevOps person right on the team, might have a designer right on the team, has the product person right on the team. And so those are, it depends on the company you work for, but those are the things that I think you'll learn as you go. And then unfortunately that comes from experience. CBT Nuggets. Oh yeah, that's right. That's where he used to work for. I knew he worked for some company that taught, had learning material, and then he's doing it on his own. He's doing a fantastic job. I love his stuff. Swissel, thanks for your reply. I really hope to get in that circle and everyday work, but your message is motivating. Well, thank you. For sure. Like I said, open a PR against my stuff if you want to see how it works. Open a PR and some documentation out there just to kind of build up some confidence. Grab tons of low-hanging fruit all across GitHub. There's lots of open source stuff that needs lots of help, and they need help. And look for the ones that are good first issues. Even sometimes those might be a little bit complicated and take some knowledge about that specific product to fix it. But being a software engineer is a lot of that, Hey, this doesn't work. Hey, fix this bug, or hey, we're building this feature. Can you help? And a lot of it is, kind of what you're going through now. So yeah, it's, but don't be discouraged. It's super fun. I was super discouraged for a long time. I went home like every night. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. And I mean, that happened to me for months. Like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I made the right move, and, you just got to keep on keeping on. And then one day it'll be, it'll just be like, man, why was I so scared? Why was I so, uneasy about doing this, and it gets better for sure. You just got to stick to it. You got to stick to it. That's what I learned about engineers. You just got to stick to it, persist, and figure out. It's a lot of root cause and a lot of investigation, but yeah. Anyways, I'm going on a lot about that, but I hope that helps. Navy Cobb, if you are so inclined, hydroponics is fun. A few years ago, I tried some 3 to 4 foot tall basil and Thai basil. It was pretty cool. Yeah, I need to get into growing herbs. Every year we're like, we're going to grow some herbs because, we buy fresh stuff, or we, during the winter, we just, either buy fresh stuff or we have dried stuff. But yeah. Sounds fun, for sure. Home Lab new, Techno Tim. I don't know if this is something you ever need or if I just missed it in one of your existing videos, but do you ever have to do any hardware mods for any of your home lab equipment? Reason I ask is because I'm going to change out some of the fans and my switches and make them quieter. I haven't documented them. I didn't really know how to fit those things in. And I know I've been doing a lot of software lately too. One, because I love software, but doesn't mean I don't do a lot of hardware stuff too. I'm just never really sure, you know, how to fit it in. So I have done hardware mods before. My Dell R710, you could not put a video card, a full 16x slot video card in there. You just can't, because it has 8x slots. And I did a ton of research and watched a lot of like YouTube videos with very bad angles and read a lot of forum posts on how to modify that PCI slot to get a video card in there. So as I was making that video about GPU pass-throughs, I should have totally thrown that in there, but I just didn't want to confuse the matter and then make it about my Dell R710 or hardware mods. But yeah, for sure. But yeah, if you ever need to modify a PCI slot that's too small, like an 8X, and you need to put a 16X card in there, I know how. It's kind of scary, and it is definitely not intuitive at all. It's the exact opposite of how you think you should do it, because it's you know, you have your slot and then it ends, and you would think you would just take a little saw and cut that slot. But no, you don't want to do it that way. You actually trim the slot back that way so that the hole opens up. But anyways, yeah, good question. I have some hardware stuff coming for sure in my backlog, but now my backlog is getting shorter. Well, it's always super long. It's just some of the hardware stuff. Got some right over here right now. It's coming soon for sure. But yeah, good question. Penguin Airlines, it's definitely working. Don't worry about that. Well, thank you. Corpor Reality. Hello, your channel popped up in YouTube for me and I watched exactly the stuff I'm working on with my home lab. Awesome. So glad it helped. YouTube's algorithm. I know a lot of people complain about it. I think it's awesome. At least it's been working awesome for me. You know, all my videos aren't great or a great fit for everyone or do as well as the ones before, but you know what? It's finding people, and that's what I love. Testament right there. But anyways, I thought I was getting advanced with my Docker setup, but now I have more. But now I have to move everything over to Kate's. Thanks a lot. No, and you don't. And so awesome you're doing Docker. Do you need to move everything to Kubernetes? No. Is it awesome to learn Kubernetes? Yes. Are tons of large and small companies using Kubernetes to deploy and manage and orchestrate their Docker containers? Absolutely. Hey, Shivs, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. At home, do you need to migrate everything that you were doing in plain old Docker or Swarm or Compose, which I guess is plain old Docker, to Kubernetes? No, I mean, you don't have to unless you want to learn about Kubernetes. I think it's super fun to learn. I think my next video that I have coming soon will kind of maybe hopefully explain why I love it so much and why I went so deep on this and yeah, and why I self-toast so much. But do you need to migrate? Yeah. But do you want to learn about Kubernetes and have some okay, mediocre tutorials by me to do it? Yeah, sure. But yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Simon, you're doing a great job. Because of you, I found Proxmox. All right, yeah, that was my first. Well, I've run so many hypervisors. You guys all know this. I've run so many hypervisors. I've run, you name it, ESXi, Microsoft Hyper-V. I've done virtual PC, type 1s, type 2s, type everythings. And I'm settling back on Proxmox. And I know someone's going to ask me about XCPNG in this stream. And if you do, I got an answer ready. Haven't tried that yet, but I know it's super popular as well. Try for free. Try to see how you can get without wasting time going down some bottomless rabbit holes. Oh, you guys are talking about software developers. So as soon as you think you're lost, don't be afraid to ask coworkers. 100% agree. You only gain that experience by building real projects. Totally agree. 100% agree. 100% agree. By building real projects. And my first real project on C# for and it was my own personal project. This was like even before I was doing it professionally. I was writing an API for one of my apps. It's to scrape space weather information. And so I was like, it was like, well, I have like 3 or 4. They were all written in C#. I rewrote them in Node. But anyways, yeah, it was simple enough because I was parsing like text files, and that was I for like 2 months I just loved parsing text files because it was manageable, it was easy. I knew the rules around these text files and how to parse them and how to get the right data out. And so I was basically doing web scraping with C#. And it was like the perfect intro, service or scraper for me in my own personal work. But yeah, I totally agree. Build something real as soon as possible, even if it's just spinning up, even if you're spinning up, a .NET website and you just want to host it at home or host it on localhost, changing values, or you want to make your own website for your own personal stuff. If you're going to go CMS, I would totally get a real CMS, but maybe you want a landing page for your own, all your social media so you can point people to it, or for your resume. It's a good first one to do. Is like, you see developers a lot of time just building their own web page, which is their resume. And that's something that's, small enough, it's contained to where you can, build, write the code, host it yourself, in your own custom code if you want, and learn along the way. But obviously there's static site generators, CMSs that you can do all that, but that might be a good first project. Put your resume online in C#. Obviously you need React or whatever you're gonna use the front end, but yeah, go from there. Both hello, that was like 2 a.m. Hi Tim, Hernani, hey, how's it going? Software rat Tao? Hello, or oh man, it's this moin moin. I don't know what that means. Am I service moin? How's it going? How are you? Swissel, thank you so much. Yeah, no problem at all. Funny that 50 viewers right now in American stream. There are 3 Austrians here. Yeah, there's Austrians, there's people from Poland, there's people from everywhere. Yeah, thank you so much. I didn't know the number. That's it kind of makes me a little bit nervous now. Kind of makes me a little bit nervous. It's a big number. It's a big number. Oh my gosh. Shuckle Samurai. Oh my gosh, you guys are killing me. Man, no, that's a good thing though. But man, thank you. Are you kidding me? 5 more? Wow, thank you so much. Shuckle Samurai, 5 tier 1 subs just gifted to the community. Thank you so much. Navy Cop, Any Blast, 5 gigahertz, Work Ninja, Averall, Barahardwaj. Enjoy the gifted sub from Shuckle Samurai. Wow, thank you so much. Wow. Hernani, wow, that's so awesome. Just seeing Link just pop up and that noise. Thank you. I keep saying it, but yeah, just being here is enough, and it's never expected. And 100% goes, what I don't donate, 100% goes back into the stream and my channel. So I really appreciate it. So thank you so much. There's something about I can't get about contributing to open source projects on my free spare time. Like, I've been in front of a computer thinking really hard, solving problems, coding, etc. for 8 hours a day. Who could the industry expect me to sit down and spend more time in thinking and coding? Yeah, I mean, it just depends. I mean, it depends. So I contribute when I can. Do I seek out open source projects to contribute to? Not as much as I should. Do I try to contribute when I'm using a product that I find a real bug for and I can fix? Absolutely. Even in my day job, and I get it. Like, the company that's paying you, might be like, well, why are you spending time, quote unquote, our time, working on this pull request for this other thing that's not ours, So I've been in those scenarios a lot lately. Not lately, but before. And fortunately, I worked for a company that understood the value of open source, and they were like, absolutely, if you want to contribute back to this thing, we're all for it. Which was awesome because one, they understood the value of open source, and two, they understood that, hey, we've been consuming this component or this widget or whatever this is for years for free, absolutely for free, and we want to give back too. So anyways, so that's the kind of corporate or enterprise culture that I hope is starting to shift. Last two companies I worked for, absolutely, it had already shifted. At home, if I'm working on something, a personal project, yeah, I'll absolutely contribute back. But to answer your question, so I went a little bit far on like just, open source and contributing back in general. Me personally, that kind of hits home. But I code all day long, and then I do code a good portion of the night too, because I have tons of little services. I mean, the code that's running this bot in here is code I wrote. So I personally enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. And I love, like a lot of developers, I love building new things. I like trying new things. I like doing things a little bit different. Hey, I just heard about this new library. I'm going to refactor some stuff. So I personally, I really enjoy it. And so, when my quote unquote day job stops, my night job is kind of writing a lot of code too, as well as preparing a lot of content for people. But anyways, long story short, I totally enjoy it. I know other developers too who are just like, nope, I code all day, not going to do it at night. And I respect them 100%. I just, for some reason, I can't turn that off. Because, there's the code I write for companies and the company I work for, and I believe in them and I want to make the best thing. But then there's also the code that I want to write that I personally like, which is in this realm of, self-hosting, gaming, automation, and so those, I'm not gonna, my company that I work for isn't gonna be like, hey, can you spin up a Discord bot for us and create all these rules, so, I kind of got to compartmentalize. I compartmentalize them different ways. So I don't think about like, hey, I coded all day and then I code all night. I think about like, hey, during the day I was solving these types of problems in this problem space, and at night I get to solve these types of problems in this problem space that I'm super excited about. Or that I want to learn outside of work. So anyways, I digress, but that's just, that's how I work. That's how my brain works. Nalian, Tim, as an infrastructure person, what is a good way to pick up programming? Yes, my man. This is where I started. So, so I started out in tech support. I did system administration, did some network stuff, built apps myself, automated a ton of stuff at work, at home, and decided, hey, my hobby of building apps and writing code is going to turn into my career. So I'm right there with you. So I started out tech support. I pulled paper jams out of printers. I flashed tons of BIOS and replaced hard drives and set up new PCs, new monitors, swapped out tons of PCs. Like I've been there. And so that's a great question. The way that I got into it was from automation. So I didn't have a strong programming background when I first started, but I loved automating things because I was like, there's not going to be any of this double clicking, asking people to run this software. And I mean, we're talking like 10 years ago, and so I loved automating stuff. So I got really into scripting installation packages, scripting imaging of servers, scripting updates, and so just tons of scripting. Like, how can I make everything I do touch-free? Sorry if you hear that noise, but touch-free. And I don't mean like, that you would never touch this, but fully automated in general. And I know there's plenty of automation stuff out here now that will help you with those types of things. But that set me up well for software development because then once I started scripting stuff and learning how to automate things and, rolling out huge software packages all over the world at this one company, the next step for me was like, okay, I want to build my own app. And so that was a good first step for me. Then I was like, okay, I want to build an app. And then I started learning about how to build apps for Android, iOS, how to build websites. And then I just kind of went from there. I know that scripting, isn't really like, may or may not be like programming. But if you're doing if you can get into any kind of automation, Zora, hey, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Nalian, if you can get into any kind of automation, either with Ansible or if you're Microsoft Shop, SCCM or anything, I think that will start to kind of open the doors for programming because you'll be scripting stuff. And maybe that's only my experience, but that's how I got into it too. Config management, yeah, you guys are right here with me. You can automate a lot of your job. Ansible, Terraform, yeah. So absolutely, I promise I didn't read the next 3 comments and you guys are right there with me. And that's how I got started too, was automate everything you can. Because through automation, you'll start to learn, you'll start to learn some programming stuff. You'll start to have conditions. You'll start to learn how to, if this fails, what do you do? How do you handle that error? Do we ignore that error or do we proceed? And so I think, and with Ansible, Terraform, config management or SCCM, like a lot of that stuff is built in now. But I think that, automating infrastructure for sure is a good first step. And so, if you're on an infrastructure team, your team's probably automating some stuff already. So I would encourage you to get more involved with the automation and learn how that works. And then, but if you totally decide you want to do something that's not back end at all, and you want to do front end or you want to do something else, a totally different stack, and that's a tough one, but you can do it. And I would obviously tutorials aren't the answer to everything, but I would watch some first to kind of understand if that's what you want to get into. But yeah, I went off on the deep end, but that one really hit home for me because that's how I started. Started out in tech support. I started out tech support right out of college, and it was my dream job. And I loved it so much because I learned so much about not only about IT or information systems or working on a team, but I learned so much about people too and customer service. I was tech support when I showed up. I got to interact with people. I got to help them. I got to save their day. I got to fix their printer jam. I get to, do all of that types, learn so many, I guess, soft skills. And I think that's how I progressed from there. But anyways, I started out in tech support and I loved it so much. I loved going to work every day because, before that was college and, and it was just like, I've learned so many things. I just wanted to apply them. And on top of that, they gave me a chance because, just because, I guess. I don't know why they gave me a chance, but there's a few times in my life people gave me a chance and it really turned out well for me. But yeah, you guys are talking about automation too. I totally agree. If you're in infrastructure, learn about some automation. That'll open a lot of doors for you because you're going to have to write scripts to automate a lot of stuff. Tools will only help you so far, but then your environment may need something a little bit different. And that's where, a Python script is going to come in. That's where a PowerShell script is going to come in, or that's where, a shell script or a command, a DOS, I don't know what they're called, a command prompt, a command is going to help you out. And so from that, you'll start to get exposed a little bit more. But anyways, you do Ansible, but okay, on the application side, sorry, I went off on that so long. But like I said, hit home for me. Hopefully I answered some of that. When some code is, I leave it public and leave a disclaimer in the README that you're reading this repo at your own risk. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I reached out to our devs, but I guess the answer was more about what they do and not how to learn. Gotcha. Yeah. It just depends. It depends on what your company does. And I think DevOps is like just another step towards dev. It's living in between, I think it's, another step towards development. That's why I love DevOps too, because I did infrastructure stuff. And then when I joined app teams, I was one of the few people that had any kind of infrastructure background. And so I gravitated towards DevOps because I'm like, yeah, we need CI/CD pipelines. We're going to write tests. When you open PRs, we're going to run tests. We're going to check your test coverage, and those are things that, again, if you ever join a product team, those are teams that, product teams are are figuring out. That's the culture that they build into their product team as you build them or join them, or maybe you bring that culture or that piece of culture to that product team. But they're all different, depending on the company and depending on the team you join. Penguin Airlines, I guess I'm lucky to learn how I learned best when I was young, which for me is to get involved with stuff. So home lab, create stuff, contribute to open source projects, find opportunities at work, contribute, etc. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I didn't. When I was young, I didn't. I was a lot quieter than I am now, and I played a lot of games and I thought a lot and read somewhat. But yeah, I didn't have a lot of those opportunities. Penguin Airlines, there's no wrong answer, but you may learn more efficiently learning one way or another. Yeah, totally agree. Software, what is Clash of Codes? I don't know. I have no idea what Clash of Codes is. Is that, I don't know, movie, theory, product, channel? Not sure. Penguin Airlines, there's also free or cheap resources, YouTube, Udemy, etc. Or good books. Yeah, totally agree. So many things out there to learn, for sure. Nicolop, y'all using Docker? I'm still here running Vagrant setup. Yeah. Oh man, Vagrant. Yeah, someone was in here before that was saying like they had the solution or the competitor to Vagrant, and yeah, I'm never sure how to take Vagrant. Me as a developer, like I love setting up my developer machine. But I could see how if you're a lead engineer on a team, how you don't want to pay that cost every time you bring on a new developer. So I haven't used Vagrant. I had a couple of friends who loved it for when they hired new engineers on their team. They could just totally give them their environment, but I've never used it. But yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts. SHV, hello everyone. Hello Tim, discovered you recently. Really nice video, love to watch. Thank you so much. Penguin Airlines, no mention of Citrix, you lucky dog. Yeah, oh wow, Citrix, it's been a while since I've done anything Citrix, or even heard that name. It's been a while, but I remember Citrix and setting up the ICA client and all that stuff. Healthcare used it a ton. Well, a lot of companies use it as a ton for, I think, terminal services. I would like to see you try Overt though. Okay, maybe. I looked at it a little bit before Proxmox, but I think the UI, and this was probably a year and a half ago, was pretty basic, I think. And not that I need like a great UI, but working on front ends myself, I need something really usable and give me lots of data. And I think Proxmox does that really well. Nalian, probably past the base operating system by the time you get there. I'm excited for what TrueNAS Scale is going to offer for home lab, managed storage, VMs, container OS, all in one. Yeah, I'm totally pumped to see what they say. And I've seen a podcast interview on YouTube where they start talking about TrueNAS Scale and some of the possibilities. Obviously, it's going over to Linux instead of FreeBSD, and it's going over to Linux, and they're going to use KVM, and they're going to have Docker support and all this awesome stuff. And I'm beginning to wonder if they're going to start breaking stuff out. This is just me speculating, but I could see a world if they're going to have TrueNAS Scale be kind of an agent, or that you can actually scale it out horizontally and have multiple TrueNAS Scales running. Then I wonder if they're going to start breaking stuff out, or if I wonder if they're going to have first-class Kubernetes support and say, I mean, this is just me speculating, but I think they know. I mean, you would, especially them being a company who sells a product, who wants to, add features or add value to their own product. Again, this is just me speculating, but I could see them offering a Kubernetes offering on TrueNAS Scale and saying, oh, by the way, you can scale out TrueNAS across however many nodes you want, and they can all be running Kubernetes clusters too. And this is me just guessing. But I mean, there's a reason why they went to Linux, and and they want Docker support, and they want all of these other things that are out there. that they can get now going to Linux. I have a feeling, I don't know, but I mean, if they're an enterprise storage solution, and now that and obviously they had a hypervisor and stuff before, or they had all of these other things. I think they wanna play in this area. And again, me speculating, 6 months or next year when it comes out, you can say, hey Tim, you're totally wrong. But if I'm right, I'm gonna be like, you heard it here first. You heard it here first, folks. I don't know, speculating, but I could see it. I mean, they play in the enterprise space, and enterprises use Kubernetes. So yeah, but yeah, it's super interesting. I'd love to see it, and yeah, it's interesting to think about. Shuckle Samurai, good afternoon, all. Thank you. Good afternoon. How are you doing? Are you Austrian too? You guys are conversing about being Austrian. That is so awesome that you guys are connecting. Robin Fused. Sorry, just saw this. Getting caught up on comments. I promise I'm catching up. Hope you're well. Oh, Shuckle Samurai, Techno, Tim, bro, your YouTube videos have helped me so much in the past few days. It's the least I can do. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I'm just getting caught up. Yeah, thank you so much for gifting those subs, and I'm glad they're helpful. I never know how far to go on Rancher because it's kind of new to some folks, and it's been around for a while, but it's super, it's gaining a ton of traction. SUSE bought them, so anyone who wants to run Kubernetes at home or Kubernetes multi-cloud, this is a great solution from them. But yeah. Brizix, are VMs more secure than containers? For example, I would like to run Nextcloud on my home server and make it available outside of my home network too, probably not reverse proxy. I will not be the only one who have access to Nextcloud. Is using a Docker container less secure? This case, why? I'm only a beginner, so please don't judge a newbie question. No judgment here, and no judgment. And it's kind of, it depends. I mean, it depends on how you set it up. It depends on how you have your network set up. It depends on your firewall rules. It depends on your namespace, because in Kubernetes, you can separate all of your workloads by namespace and not allow them to communicate with other containers that are even hosted on that node or that host. So it just depends on how you set it up. I wouldn't say that it's any more or less secure. You just have different concerns now. And you're gonna have to secure them a little bit different than you did before with your virtual machine. Because if you had a virtual machine and you could not set that up properly as well. I think it's just a different mindset, and it's a different set of rules that you have to apply. So because of that, you might have to do a little bit more research too. But I wouldn't, I mean, if you think about it, I know I'm probably drilling this into your heads, but like I don't want to say every, that's generalizing, but a majority of Fortune 500 companies and companies across the world are using Kubernetes, which uses Docker under the cover. And I mean, even Twitch, I guarantee that they're using Kubernetes. This is probably streaming on infrastructure somewhere that's running Kubernetes that has Docker behind it. So, I mean, if you just think about that, like, I don't think that, it's going to make it any more less or more secure. It's just a different hat you have to put on now and a different way to think about it. But yeah, hopefully that helps. Getting caught up. Hey, what language do you suggest starting to learn after HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? So this is coming from CDN Tynan. Yeah, it's a good question. So I do a lot of JavaScript. I do a lot of TypeScript. I have done a lot of C#, and I have done a lot of Java, and I have done a lot of Kotlin. Well, not a lot of Kotlin. I've done more Java than I have Kotlin. It just depends on what you want to get into. I mean, it just depends. Like, so you're calling out HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Seems like you like front end. If you want an easy way to jump into back end, you could keep all your JavaScript knowledge and try Node, like I run. So Node.js. And half of the reason why I chose this language is one, because I like doing front end. I like building UIs. And two, I know that I can run Node on the back end and take that whole entire tool set, take that whole entire mindset and apply that to back end. Obviously, you're going to need a little bit more than knowing the languages, but maybe you don't need to learn a new language. Maybe you want to try a different practice, but a different area of software development. But if you still want to pick up another language, I mean, people love Python. Python's everywhere. I mean, I think that might even be a bigger language now than JavaScript, at least according to, I think, Stack Overflow, their yearly, I think, yearly survey of what people are writing, or according to GitHub and the commits that are going in. So I can't say that for sure, but Python might be something good to pick up. I've probably written 30 lines of Python ever. But it sounds awesome. But yeah, I mean, but if you want to continue on front end, you could try maybe TypeScript and tighten up your JavaScript with a strongly typed language or a super language. Or if you want to do backend, try Node.js, and bring all that JavaScript with you. But yeah, hopefully that helps. P. Diddy, that's kind of what I've been doing at my job for automating what UI do at work. Using batch right now. I've done a ton of batch. No shame in that game. Done it before too. Let's get caught up here. As a network admin, I'm all for efficiency and automation indeed. It started to be an obsession. Totally agree. I'm right there with you. Shivs. Tree for free, I would suggest a course, depending on what job you want to do, pick up some enterprise language, Java, Kotlin, yeah, we just talked about that, or C#. In my experience, you'll be fine with JavaScript as a backend language. In smaller companies, there will be only one or two languages that everything will ever be written in. Yeah, I can agree with that. I've worked for large companies, so I've worked for large, and then I've worked for really big companies, and I've worked for small companies. And you'll kind of see that on the small company and the large company. But when you get into the really large companies, I'm talking like, Fortune 50, big companies. And as well as the trend lately that I've seen in enterprise is that, when you go to a product team, I mean, obviously you're going to have some enterprise architecture where people kind of say like, hey, these are the languages that we use, we support. But at the same time, I think once teams start moving towards product teams, those product teams have that ability to change that. At least that's what I've seen in my experience. And so when I worked for the really big company, I mean, there was everything. I mean, there was Java, Kotlin, C#, Node, Go, Python. I mean, you name it, VB.NET. I mean, it was everywhere. Mainly because some stuff was legacy. And another reason why is because some things were new hotness. And so it's all over the place. But I totally agree with you. Company I work at now, we decided as a team, we're just gonna, we're gonna write a couple of languages, and we've been following that. And then, on the bigger side too of a large company, most of the time, a lot of that stuff's in place, and they recruit and hire for that types of things. It's not until you get into the really big companies where they're just like, there's so many languages there that they're either recruiting for it or they're just getting software engineers and saying, yeah, well, you might write one of many languages. But yeah, totally agree. Schleimstremt, at least I learned PHP. Really enjoy writing it to this day. Nice. Is more backend stuff, but you can also use it to make JavaScript, CSS, HTML websites better and adaptive content. Totally agree. WordPress, good example. It's written in PHP. Young Brax, do you know anyone who transitioned from data analytics to AI dev? I do not. No, I don't. Artificial intelligence, that seems like a leap. I don't know, but I haven't. Honestly, I haven't. But I know that just data analytics folks in general are doing some programming kind of themselves. And I think that's where a lot of Python is coming from the data side, which is awesome. But I personally don't. Penguin Airlines, yeah, the UI is lacking for over, but it really have heard pretty reputable supercomputers use it. There must be some value there. Yeah, totally agree. Todor, I have a C programming background as a solid networking skill set, but I've taken a 4-year hiatus from a new programming job. What new technology should I go for when starting to decide programming again? That's a great question. Urban1702, thanks for the follow, and quap till you drop. Thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Welcome. That's a good question. So I don't do a lot of low-level languages like that. I mean, it just depends. Do you still want to do, lower-level languages? Man, Young Brax, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Welcome. And I just read your comment earlier. But, I think if you do, and you want to sharpen your skills, the languages I see used, lower level languages, lately, there's Go, there's Rust. Those are two languages that I see people using quite a bit. But it just depends on what you want to get into. I think that it depends on where you want to play. Do you want to play in the back end? Do you want to play at a really low level on hardware? Or do you want to do, front end type stuff, middle tier type stuff? It just depends on where you want to play. And I think that, would help me to understand, I guess where you should start. And plus, to be honest, if you've been doing C and C++, I haven't done a ton of it. I've done very little. Like I said, I started, .NET, and so I've always been running at a higher level than that. So yeah, but there are a lot of lower level languages out there now, and a lot of things to help you, like Rust. But yeah, Young Brex, you can get C job. Yeah, I mean that's what he was learning. But I was thinking, he feels like learning something new. Security container. Oh yeah, namespaces. We talked about this earlier, and this came up in Discord for sure. Python's nice, totally agree. I agree with Penguin Airlines here. If you have everything encrypted in a password sheet under your keyboard, that won't help much. Yeah, Big Red Rusty. Or if you save every password example on Mozilla Cloud, have a weak password. That totally agree. Golang, yeah, quap till you drop. I was just saying go. Golang, yeah, I'm right there with you. Golang for sure. Yeah, I'm getting caught up. Yeah, see. I hear Rust is awesome too. I don't know. I mean, Firefox is written in Rust, and I met a guy that was writing part of Firefox, and I watched a dev forum presentation on Rust. Sounded awesome, but people are going for Go for sure. Go plus Vue is amazing. Wow, that's an interesting combo. So Go for your back end and then Vue for your front end. That sounds interesting. I've done a tiny bit of Vue. I've been living in this React world for a while. Yeah, speaking of, React might have a bigger job pool. I don't know. I totally agree. For sure. Just because every front end I see is either Angular or React, but I honestly see that it's, I wouldn't even say 80-20. Most companies I've worked for have just, hey, we want this written in React. Or, hey, we're hiring React developers. They don't even say the language, and they don't even say you're going to be front end. They're just we want React developers. And so but I love React. I write React all day long. Write React Native too. It's super fun, super interesting, and I love the way it's going. If you're going to learn front end right now, Vue and React are the frameworks to learn. Totally agree. Angular is another good one. I wouldn't bat an eye if someone said I'm building a brand new Angular UI, because it's from Google. It's in TypeScript, and I know it's changed a ton. I used to do Angular too, and I know it's changed a ton since the 1, 2, 4, 5, 23 days or whatever it's at now. But a lot of people still choose that because of TypeScript. But now, obviously, you can do TypeScript with React as well. I'm well familiar with the C language. How well is C used for backend, for scripting on Linux? Yeah, I don't know. Can't answer that. Languages are so interchangeable. I kind of agree. Somewhat. Yeah, somewhat. It just depends. Learning React at the moment, and I'm loving it. Yeah, me too. Java, C#, Go, Python are the most popular for backend right now. I totally agree. Yeah, Java is just, it's so huge. And then obviously Go's coming in. C#'s always been huge. Python's, up there too. I mean, obviously Kotlin's growing a lot too. now that they added to the JVM. Java and C# are going nowhere. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there are tons of Microsoft shops who still write C#. I don't know. I mean, I haven't been, like I said, like I used to write C# when I got into development and then quickly moved into JavaScript. Java and C# are so prevalent in big companies, massive code bases. Totally agree. I totally agree. Enterprise for sure. And then, Java still has, Java still has, outside of enterprise, a lot of people write their Android applications in Java. Obviously, they can do it in Kotlin now too, or like 15 other languages. But yeah, I think some people still write their Android apps in Java. Shiv's feeling overwhelmed and intimidating, but I'm really looking forward to switch career path 12 years into the market as net admin. And I'd like to switch for DevOps position, I guess. I think that's awesome. I think that's fantastic. I totally love DevOps. I think it's a great place for people to be in right now too. Legacy language, yeah. A lot of companies are slowly moving to microservices with Go, Python, Rust, yeah. And I would argue, I don't think your language dictates whether it's a microservices or not. So microservices are obviously a breakdown of monoliths, and they don't have to be written in a specific languages. They don't have to be written in a specific language. So I mean, microservices providing, one piece of a service that maybe a monolith did before. But yeah, I see where you're going. If you're going to break down a monolith, most of the time you're going to go with, a newer language anyways, because you're like, okay, we're breaking that thing apart. We're starting all over. We're not doing that thing again. And then you build your microservice and you're like, what's the new hotness now? It's Go, Python, Kotlin, whatever, TypeScript, Node. But yeah, for sure. You talked about Kubernetes and Proxmox a couple of days ago. You have to activate nesting on LXC container. Yeah, good call. We talked about that a little bit ago because I think some folks were trying to get Docker running within LXC. So yeah, good to know. Did I try Vue? Only a tiny bit. And I went to a presentation where the creator or maintainer of Vue was presenting. It's pretty good stuff. No, I like it. But I don't know. I just, been doing React, love it. Maybe I should learn it. But for right now, like everyone wants React out of me. And I mean, obviously other things too, but I enjoy it too. And my apps that I've written are in React Native. So I'm invested in React. Doesn't mean I shouldn't try Vue again, but yeah, it's interesting. Young Brax, what do you think about PWAs, so progressive web apps? I'm not too fond of them, especially for older users. I think there's a future for them as long as browsers play the game. I know that Apple hasn't been playing the game for a long time. They didn't support a lot of things about PWAs, just like a lot of things they didn't support, with Safari. So I think they're cool. I think they have their place. It's almost like running an app. But I see a conflict of interest with app stores and PWAs, so progressive web apps. And so if you're not familiar with progressive web apps, it's a website that's trying to do more stuff. So you have agents or workers that run in the background. You can now put icons on desktops as if you were an app, and the list goes. 4, 5, 6 killer features that they're adding in PWAs to act more like apps. And so, you just got to get everyone to play along. And so that might be tough. And while Firefox and Chrome are probably going to play along, I know that Apple with Safari drug their feet for a long time on a lot of stuff. And I don't remember if it was the app schemas or what it was, but if I don't know, 20% of people are carrying an iPhone, and they can't run this feature of PWAs, which makes, the app almost obsolete. Who knows? But I don't know. I mean, I think there's a time and a place for them, but I think that native apps are always going to keep leapfrogging, like exponentially, what websites can do. I mean, for a while they were kind of like neck and neck, but now if you think, augmented reality, like ARKit and stuff like that, that's kind of hard to reproduce in a browser. So but I don't know. I think they're awesome. I think they should they should continue to develop and thrive. And maybe I'm looking at it from an app perspective, like, will they replace apps? For 99% of apps that are on your phone, probably, absolutely. PWA, don't publish to the App Store. Publish directly from the website. When you go to Airbnb.com, just give me your PWA and I don't need to go through the App Store, you know. But with that comes a lot of other stuff. Like, then you gotta manage push notifications somewhere else. And I mean, I guess you got that too. Anyways, I'm super excited for it. Don't mean to be negative. I've seen some things that were concerning, you know, from different, you know, browsers that I was like, man, people should buy into this. This is making the web a better place. Tree for Free wondering if the end-all current languages will end up like Fortran, where there's a shortage of developers maintaining legacy code that is the foundation of the public infrastructure. Yeah, it could be. Could be. But I also think Urban, dang, thanks for the sub, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Tree for Free, good point. But I also think like there's going to be a lot more software developers, you know, now than there was when a lot of the Fortran stuff was made. But maybe not. Cowstub, I love playing with network and ISP. Automating is the only option for me. Nice. Pretty sure the government has been signing large contracts to replace older infrastructure. Totally agree. Totally agree. Let me see here. Trying to get caught up on the comments, guys. This is awesome. There's so much to learn. For microservices, the communication between the modules is more important than the language itself. Yeah, I totally agree. But I think someone's comment was like, now people are going to use modern languages because of microservices. And I was just saying that, well, you can still write a microservice in an old language, but I think most people breaking down monoliths are going to choose newer languages if they're going to break down the monolith and, you know, make microservices now. I'm Dalian. So you stated early, if there's a problem in Docker Rancher, then you are one click away. With that stated, I'm running into this problem setting Pi-hole. Oh yeah, I know all that. So I know all that. So that problem that you're running, I think if you're watching my video or looking at the documentation, look at the resolve const stuff, because that's the fix for it. That's the fix for it. Because you don't have DNS as you're trying to pull, yeah. I have a fix for it right in the video. Dang. Luis Latte, 100 bits. Thank you so much, man. Seriously, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, for sure. PHP plus Laravel. Haven't checked out Laravel yet. I can agree to that. Let's see here. Urukato, yes, the easiest is to start programming with web backend. I totally agree there. I think people only hating PHP because they saw some meme on Instagram that made fun of PHP, with the creator of the meme probably never having written any line of it in their life. Yeah, the hate, I don't know if the hate is real. I hear it, just being a software developer myself. Yeah, I don't know why, but you know, it seems like PHP becomes the butt of people's jokes. I agree. I've heard it. I don't know why. You know, people will be like, yeah, but it's PHP. And I'm just kind of like, okay, well, you know, haven't done enough PHP to have an opinion. I mean, my only thing about PHP, my only opinion about it was I used to modify it sometimes to get some of my CMS working, and I had no idea what I was doing. And, you know, it kind of plays in this back-end kind of front-end place too, which is interesting to think about for sure. Yeah, totally interesting. Petter00, thanks for the follow. Really appreciate it. Bloodpack. Oh, wait. Luis Latte. What up, boys? Esket. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce the last thing, but what's up? Thank you. Bloodpack. What firewall do you use? Yeah, so now, currently, I'm using Sophos XG Firewall. So I know people on this channel have heard it a million times, but you know, I've done everything from Microsoft routing and remote access to pfSense, to OpenSense, to MonoWall, to what else? Untangle, to you name it. I've tried it. And so right now I'm on XG Firewall because a lot of different reasons, but I enjoy it. It's fully integrated, and they offer a lot of stuff for free for home use. So yeah, I'm there. I know it's not open source, and I know it's a paid product, and I know it's a company that makes money. But you know what? They offer a home version, and it has a lot of security baked into it, and a ton of features baked into it, and that's what I'm using for now. I might switch sometime, maybe not, but yeah, that's what I'm using. Dimstar 4, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Bloodpack 81, what firewall do you use? Let me guess. I'm gonna guess pfSense, but we'll see. What do you use? Like to know. I'm Dalian, gotcha. Petter, I use C# and something that got bleeped out, and I'm satisfied. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, I know that people get all crazy about, hey, what language do you use? What do you write? And, I mean, it's fun as a developer to poke at other developers about that stuff. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you're solving problems for either people or for a business, right? And so, when some company hires you, I mean, yes, they might be hiring you because you know this language, but at the end of the day, they're hiring you to solve a problem. And that problem is not PHP. That problem is not Go. It's not Rust. It's not Node. It's not TypeScript. It's, automate this, help me make money, secure this, and it's all those types of things. So friends that write other languages, oh yeah, heck yeah, I poke at them all the time, or but it's all fun and camaraderie. Because we all know at the end of the day, like sometimes you can't pick that language, you pick the company. And we also know at the end of the day, we're here to help solve problems for this company and not necessarily, choose a language for them. But it is sweet when you get to choose a language for that product though. That's what I was saying. Product teams are great, especially on a new greenfield product, because you're like, sweet, what are we going to do? Let's figure it out. But yeah, good call though. Oh sweet, Getia and SSH, support for mirrors. Penguin Airlines, my problem is solved. Hey, there you go. Let's see, I'm using Sophos UTM and I love it. Hey, there you go. So that's the USG, I think. I think so. But yeah, I'm using Sophos XG Firewall. Where would you recommend me learning about routing and networking stuff online? Hey, well, I think earlier people were bringing up Network Chuck. So if you're into videos and you're into, if you like to consume your learning content through videos that are engaging, that are interesting, that are funny, and well produced, Network Chuck is a good resource. Otherwise, if you want, well, there you go. I want to get deep into Cisco. Yeah, that one's tough. The way that I learned Cisco stuff was either by book or by internet, and trying. And I think someone introduced me to some virtual network application that you can actually build, design, and test like your commands in a virtual environment, which I thought was super awesome. I forget what the product was. If someone knows, call it out. And it was a 3-letter acronym. But anyways, do you learn by reading? Do you learn by watching? Or do you learn by doing? Those kind of things will make a difference. But I haven't done a ton of Cisco stuff. I mean, I've done Cisco stuff before. I even have a Cisco switch, but you best believe I'm using the UI for the stuff that I need to do at home, but that's not my, that's not, what am I trying to say? That's not my forte or skill set that I'm trying to build up, unlike yourself. So you may not learn like I do. But yeah, let me know like which one of those work for you. It's Pie Bomb. Let me get a drink of this real quick. Lots of conversations today. I'm loving this. How to find new things to program. Where do you get an idea for a project? That is a great question. Most of the time I either get inspired by something I like that I think I might be able to do better or different, or I get inspired by new tech. So I have Philips Hue lights in here, and I was like, the app can only do so much. Maybe I want to write some code, and maybe I want to explore that. So that's what I did, and I'm going to redeem it now. So I have channel points. When you redeem channel points, I don't even know if that's going to work. It should. There it goes. Yeah, it's going to work. I wrote some code for that. So I enjoy Twitch. I enjoy Discord. I enjoy IoT. I enjoy writing stuff in Node. I enjoy Home Lab. I enjoy self-hosting. And so I wrote a bunch of code to automate the lights in my room. And so, it just depends on what you like. I always, the things that I get excited about are gaming, streaming, technology. And so I try to find something within there that then I can apply something I know about. Most of the time it's going to be like, how can I automate something? How can I do something that I'm just tired of clicking buttons? I don't want to click buttons, or I want, people to use commands. And so for me, it was, okay, I'm going to build a Twitch bot and people can use commands. And that was super fun. Or in my Discord server, I'm going to build a Discord bot, and when people use commands, it'll work. Julian Apolanka, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. And so for me, that's kind of how I work. I like hosting things. I like community stuff. I like interactive stuff. I love IoT. And so I get inspired by those types of things. Most of the time it's automation though, because I'm just like, I'm not clicking this button anymore. I'm done with it. And I wanted to be able to react to some other, event within my environment. So yeah, what do you get inspired about? Like, what are you interested in outside of programming? Try to pair something you really like that has nothing to do with programming with programming. And that's where I think it'll get kind of fun. For me, at least. I have a hardware appliance UTM 425, 2AP 100 access points. Nice. David Bombal is good too. Good call. Packet Tracer. Is it called Packet Tracer? I don't know. Schleimstrom. I don't know if it's Packet Tracer. I thought there was like, I saw it and I went to their website and it was like it was almost like an IDE/design tool that you could spin up an entire network, and maybe it is Packet Tracer, and you could spin up an entire network virtually and test it all out and even use, the CLI and test stuff. But it sounded awesome, looked awesome. Like if I was a network engineer, I would be loving that for sure. Yeah, I have that, but it's different than the real one. Like Tim said, Network Chuck is a good resource for YouTube, and David Bombell. Good call, Bombell. Yeah, good call. Cisco Packet Tracer. Usually I have advised people getting into network to start in general networking knowledge and not Cisco curriculum first. Yeah, good call. Because yeah, you're learning about how a company does it versus just networking in general. GNS, that was it, I think. Yeah, that's it. Cowstub, thank you. GNS, was it? All right, I gotta Google this because I think that was it. And I even said it's a 3-letter acronym. GNS? Yeah, it was, because it's in my history. Yeah, so I know nothing about this, but it looks super awesome. So anyways, yeah, good call, Cowstub. That's exactly what I was thinking. And it was in my history because someone mentioned it. I was like, I gotta look this up. But yeah, good call. GNS 3, yeah. Def nice to have in a setup. Got yourself able to play with actual iOS firmware. Yeah, good call. Yeah. So someone introduced that to me. I thought it was cool because you could set up a whole entire virtual environment. Yeah. Blank are so boring. How can I automate it so that I don't have to touch it again? Yeah, that's me too. Probably so much code was created that way. I totally agree. I don't want to hit buttons, but not so much that I don't want to hit buttons. I either want people to interact with it, that's where I get excited, or I want my code to react to something else, like my Twitch stuff. That's pub sub. It's awesome to me. I enjoy pub sub type stuff too. Even though I do front end stuff, I enjoy I have some webhooks and some web APIs, and I enjoy reacting to either a pub sub, an event, or to a webhook when someone hits my webhook. That's super fun to me because someone's telling now my code to do work remotely, and it's awesome, But yeah, not only Cisco, but you can test your application via virtualization, VBox, VM. Yeah, nice. I love it. Cisco Packet Tracer. Yeah, but it was was it GN3? Yeah, GN3, which I thought was awesome. I know nothing about it other than I just learned about it like 48 hours ago. Can anyone recommend a Raspberry with NVMe support? Whoa. Raspberry Pi with NVMe support? Yeah, I don't know. There goes Notepad. That's right. I got to take notes. So that next time someone mentions it, I can either say, I've heard of it or I've read 30 seconds of it. Eve is greater than GNS3. I don't know anything about Eve. Todor, Techno Tim, do you do programming streams? I have before, and I have a couple times. I've even fixed my own buggy code live in stream a few times, and we debug stuff. And one of my, a past stream, one of my favorite streams in the past was when I actually wrote a Twitch bot live, and it was super fun. The fun part wasn't writing the code, and I would have never predicted this, but the fun part about that stream was how interactive it was. And what I mean by interactive, people weren't telling me, the code to write. People were actually trying to break my bot. And so I was like, hey, here's how you write a Twitch bot. And someone's like, do you mind if I break your bot real quick? And I was like, go for it. And so they were sending in commands to my bot to try to bring my bot offline. And meanwhile, I'm live streaming, debugging their code, trying to understand like what they're sending in and trying to circumvent that. And obviously I had some commands in there that were going to echo out whatever they sent in. Worst command you could ever do for a Twitch stream, unless you sanitize that data coming in. So anyways, I have done it before. I haven't done it lately unless I need to debug something or my bot, like if my channel points didn't trigger and my Philips Hue lights didn't change, I might have debugged that locally. But it really just depends. It just depends. I try to keep this channel open to what people want to talk about. And what I've realized by having this channel, it allows people to talk and meet with people they normally wouldn't get to meet or interact with. Who are interested in similar things. And I've said this before, but that's how it's been for me for a long time in my life. I rarely meet anyone who likes to, build a server in their basement, who likes to host stuff, who cares enough about their code to build it and host it in their own home, to set up Kubernetes in their own home, to set up FreeNAS in their home, to have a virtual server, to have all of this networking equipment. I've probably met in real life only one other person, and he was inspired by what I was doing and wanted to start doing it. And so for me, I kind of just keep this channel open to what people want to talk about. And that's why you'll see threads of conversations of other people who are just having conversations, because I want to keep this channel open for people. And so I don't mean to get all like, super sentimental, but I found that I enjoy allowing people to talk about what their project is and what they have going on, because, some people need that kind of outlet and to be able to talk to people and say, or just even, being able to tell someone, because like I said, for many years of my life, I had no one to tell this stuff to. I mean, I've been doing HomeLab before HomeLab was called HomeLab. I've been self-hosting before self-hosting was a subreddit, before Reddit even exists. You know what I mean? And so I had no one to tell ever for many years of my life to build, that, hey, I built this stuff. The only way that people would know is like, hey, I'm hosting my own blog. You should go and check it out. And so for a long time, that didn't exist. And so when I started this channel and I started the YouTube channel, I just decided that like, I'm going to let people talk about what they want to talk about. Because I realized, there's, probably 10 years of my life where I'm building and hosting and doing stuff that I never told anyone about ever. Like all the stuff that I have on YouTube and the stuff that I have on Twitch aren't things I just learned yesterday. Well, some of the Kubernetes stuff, hosting at home, that's super tough stuff. But most of the stuff isn't things I just learned last week. there are things I've been doing for, you know, or something in that area for, you know, 10 years ish, you know, or something, you know, along those lines. And going all the way back to when I was telling you, hey, I started out in tech support. That's where I got my first home lab computer, was a computer destined for the trash. And I said, asked my manager at the time, can I take this home? And he was like, that thing is so old. Why do you want it? And I said, well, I want to learn. I want to run a server. I want a file server at home. And he was like, just take the hard drive out. And that's what got me started. And so again, like that's a very long story. That's kind of my history of, I guess, home lab, self-hosting, how I got into this and how I got even into software development. But, you know, just to go back to your question, will I ever write code live? Sure. If people want to see me write some code or debug my own code, absolutely. But at the same time, you know, I want to keep this also super interactive too. Because I don't always want to talk at people. And sometimes if I write code, you know, I'm either talking to myself or talking at people. And so I want to make sure that I address your guys' comments. And just like I address comments on YouTube, just like I reply to Twitter likes and comments, you know, I also want to respond to your comments in here too. As long as I humanly can, I'm going to respond to your guys' comments, because I know that, you know, it takes time, it takes effort, and it takes guts sometimes to say something. And so I just want to acknowledge and appreciate that you guys are commenting and coming to my channel, either channel, and commenting on my stuff. So anyways, long story short, hopefully, I think I just summarized my whole entire channels in about 5 minutes. But yeah. So let me see. Let me get caught up. Only thing I don't like about my home lab is the power bill. I hear you, Todor. I don't either. But I would encourage you, if you can, try to find something that like you can either offload to smaller servers or possibly shut down at night, or try to monetize something in there, because then you might recoup, you know, a little bit of the electric bill. But yeah, I'm with you. And so I'll have some things coming. You know, my current infrastructure is based on my current needs. My current needs change, and they've changed in the last 6 months dramatically. But they might change in another 6 months. So who knows? In 6 months, I could go super low, ultra green, low power stuff. I would love to. But right now, I have some workloads that are pretty demanding. But yeah, I hear you. New gen server, more power efficient. Totally agree. Yep. Like what Epic has going on. Yep, for sure. 16A to 240, 24/7. Yeah. Penguin Airlines. It's hard to write code and be interactive. Noobcat does a good job, in my opinion. Yeah, for sure. And I've done it. And I totally agree. And I've done it because, you know, I've done developer forum presentations. I've done conferences before where I'm doing live code, but it's more of like demos. But I've done it. But yeah, I totally agree. It's not as interactive. And when I do that, the agenda is my agenda. And so I feel like on YouTube, that's kind of my agenda. And so at least on my Twitch channel, I want to make this kind of your agenda, what you want to talk about, and keep this interactive. Because part of the reason why, you know, I go live is so I can interact with people. And it's not just so I can talk at people or let them hear what I have to say, because a lot of times I don't agree with it. But, you know, it's again to just keep this as interactive as possible, so that every time you come, it's something different, or it's someone bringing up an idea, or someone trolling me that I believe in for a day or two, or something like that. So anyways, I want to keep it as interactive as possible. But yeah, I'm right there with you, Penguin Airlines. It is hard to be interactive when you write code, and I could. But then, you know, also it would take the whole entire audience to maybe buy into, hey, I'm going to watch you write code for a long time too. I have decommissioned my old gear. I've used a Dell 2600, but now I ordered Dell R810. Nice. Our pleasure to distract you coding. Yeah. Sedated. That's why I try to put as much as I can in one Raspberry Pi. Yes, with Docker and Kubernetes. So my heavy services can more easily fit on commodity hardware. Yes, I'm all for commodity hardware, and I think you'll hear me say that a lot. I'm all for running stuff on commodity or consumer grade stuff as much as you can. I get it that there are times when you have specialized needs or need special hardware to do certain things. But for majority of the people, especially for people just looking to get into self-hosting or having a home lab or learning, like commodity hardware will serve you fine. And if people can do it on Raspberry Pis, you best believe that your PC from 5 years ago could do it too. Texter Tim, I feel your pain. When I was an undergrad, my roommates and their friends would ask, why does your mini fridge have wires and is blinking? The mini fridge they were referring to was a 12U rack with an acrylic window housed with the apartment's network stack. That is awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. Well, yeah. Love that story because I can totally relate. And, I had this little corner in the basement when I lived with my brother, and I had computers in there, and he would ask me, and it's not because he didn't want them there. He just didn't understand, like, why do you have those computers, and why do they need to be on, and what are they doing, and it's just like, one's running Active Directory, and one's running my blog, the other one's running Windows Media Center, and that records TV so we can stream, and one's running Windows Home Server Edition so that this is like 10 years ago, but yeah, I feel you right there. And the only time people would ask me is when they were like, what the heck is that? It wasn't more like they were like, oh, tell me more. It was more like, explain yourself, because like they couldn't comprehend that like a computer needs to be on like when you go to bed, and like, no, this is 24/7, but yeah. 40 core, 80 terabytes, 128 gigs of RAM. You are blowing my mind. That's a lot of stuff. Noob or no op. Yeah. Yeah. She says it like no op. It's a common. Yeah. Is it not a common construct with your languages? Yeah. No op. But everyone writes noob for sure. It just means no op. Nothing's gonna happen. Minesweeper. You guys are going crazy now. Radius server and Squid, interesting. So a lot of native services for me and my sub operators, like UNMS and MikroTik cloud hosted router, and Radius server and Squid. I've been having lots of SD cards die in my RPIs. Anyone have that similar issue? Funny you say that because I have not. That Raspberry Pi back there, and granted it's not doing stuff, it's running Raspbian, and I have a node workload that I wrote all the code for, and it's running some other C stuff. That thing has not died, and I'm like, one day it's gonna die. But I've been pretty fortunate. I do buy. What do I buy? I buy Samsung every time. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but my SSDs and my SDs are almost always Samsung, unless they're like free. Free came with something, and they're 128 gig for whatever reason. But yeah. P. Diddy, finally got Bitwarden set up in reverse proxy, dual push, exported my passwords from Firefox, time to go through and call passwords to make new ones. Ugh, yeah, I agree. Making new ones, I just went through this long list the other day of making new ones, and it kind of stinks. Alvarad Brands, I'm sorry, that's a hard name. Thank you for the follow, really appreciate it, welcome. Let's see here, various ways to help with that. So sedated, and OS that is less IO heavy, cut down on log frequency, move logs to RAM. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, for sure. Tree for free. As far as I know, the Pi 2, this was a big issue. Interesting. I think mine might be a Pi 2. I'll have to look again. Jen Orion? Samsung SD. Oh, there we go. Samsung SD. Is the way to go. The others have decreasing lifespans. They get cheaper. Nice. Because I always choose Samsung SD and SSDs. I always do. And TVs. For some reason, that's my brand when it comes to TVs, SSDs, or SDs. Just do. Depends on what you do, though. Some apps, OS, a lot of disk I/O. Totally agree. Totally agree. But hey, I hate to do this, but I'm gonna have to call it a day. Like, man, this today totally blew my mind. And I don't mean to multitask, but I want to find out if someone's online right now. You guys totally blew my mind today. Like, I thought, you know, I never know what to expect. And man, you guys really came through really strong today. And thank you so much. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better stream. Like today, wow, Redneck Tech 51, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. I could not have asked for a better stream. Like every stream keeps getting better and better and better. And I thank you so much for your time, your comments for sure, your knowledge of all of this technology, bits, follows, subs, sub gifts. I really appreciate it. And I know that, you know, I've said this probably 3 times already today, and I just want to say it again that, man, you know, your time is enough for me. And just being here and being on the stream with me and chatting is more than enough. So I really appreciate everything else. And I, again, said it again, but everything that, you know, comes through via sub or whatever, however Twitch pays me, 100% gets donated or goes back into the stream. So 100% appreciate it. And just know that I'm just going to keep making content better for sure. But I also, I rarely raid people, and I want to do that. I want to be a good community member, and I want to share this with other people too. And so I want to find someone to raid, and I just found this person. Now I should have a better selection in the future. I've raided people a couple times, but I just want to. I'm gonna go with the Twitch algorithm, and right now when I look at the Twitch algorithm, it is recommending to me Lana Lux doing game dev. So I think we should raid this person, Lana Lux, doing game dev. Never seen the channel. I'm going out on a limb. I'll do a little more research before, but I also want to stick to this science and tech channel because a lot of these people are doing a lot of interesting things. So I think we should brain Lana Lux. I know nothing about her, but she's doing game dev. I mean, she's doing software development and she's writing code. I mean, how awesome is that? So anyways, let's, if you want, you can always continue. We can continue the conversation in Discord. Did I not write that right? Oh yeah, my other one works. If you want to continue this conversation and you want it to continue to go, obviously you can stay on my channel and chat. But if you want to connect with people and with me and other folks in here who might not be in the channel now, there's my Discord server. A lot of folks, a lot of channels, a lot of folks in there talking about a lot of interesting things. And so your chat can transition right over to there. But we are gonna raid someone. So I'll have some emojis pretty soon that we'll use for raiding. Again, it's on my short list. But please, be nice. I know you guys are. I don't know anything about this channel, so be nice. I know you will be. But yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, for sure. No, thank you guys, for sure. We're gonna raid her. So I think I always use the commands. I'm sure there's a UI, but we're gonna raid her. All right, and be nice, get hype. She probably deserves it. She has a couple hundred people on her channel, but yeah, be nice. So yeah, thank you so much. Have a good night, and let's raid her. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh man, what a long tail on that. Come on. Right now, here we go.